Is Sean and RJ on 105.3 The Fan.
To the pitch. Swung on and a high drive, well hit. Right center. That one is way back, and that ball is gone. A grand slam for Tommy Pham. And his first at bat back with the Cardinals. He has broken it open. It's 8-1 St. Louis.
Eric Nadell with the call. That, unfortunately, is the back and forth, then back and forth, and that is how we open up the Hump Day edition of Sean, RJ, and Bobby live from Oxnard, California, on your home of the Cowboys and Rangers. It is 105.3 The Fan, and we are brought to you by Sagamore Spirit Rye Whiskey, Best Buy Windows and Siding, and Guardian Caps. We are live on the Uber One Fan Cam. The MLB trade deadline has come and gone. The Rangers lose 8-1, but we added a little bit of relief, RJ Choppy.
Andrew Chafin, they were able to get him. This guy just exudes sex appeal and masculinity, toxic masculinity. This is my kind of guy right here, man. Absolutely. They give up a couple of pitchers in exchange for a guy with 41 relief appearances as an ERA just a tick over 3. It's a 3.16, but he is older. I mean, he's not a kid. He's 34 years old. This is not somebody that's going to be here for the next 10 years by any stretch. But they do what a lot of teams in Major League Baseball try to do this time of year, and that's bolster their bullpen. They think they did that.
Yeah,
didn't work last night because the bullpen gave up the big granny.
It's the Ranger killer, Tommy Pham. He kicked their ass during the World Series. He was the only guy on the Diamondbacks consistently doing it. Did it again last night. His first game there with the Cardinals. Look, it's fine, sure. I thought the idea though was if you're going to go out and get a reliever, they wanted a more controllable reliever instead of a guy who's expiring. But he's a fun character, exudes his sex appeal, and that's all you could really ask for from the Rangers at the trade deadline was how do we improve our sex appeal? That's what they got.
They're all in.
There's something.
They had a bunch of guys. They wanted a bunch of guys on expiring contracts. This team is all in.
I liked the very strong opinions that you had, Bobby, and all of your email takes last night. Take it away with your first one. Just unload. It's an unload Wednesday.
Yeah, like here's the biggest problem to me is that this is such a wasted opportunity. They've actively sacrificed being a better baseball team in 2025 with what they did yesterday. They had an opportunity to move on from several expiring veterans in a market where it seemed like every hour we were getting texted from Jared Sandler, do you see this overpay that people are paying for this pitcher out here? Oh, my gosh. If the Rangers got involved in this, they might be able to get an overpay too. And they didn't. They sat there. They have bought into their own BS. And this baseball team, they're not going to win a title this year. They've sacrificed, like I said, being potentially, 6-7 wins better next year in the name of going 85-77 and getting swept in the first round of the playoffs. And just getting a shot at getting swept in the first round of the playoffs.
So driving home from practice, we had the awesome debate in the car. Very opposite takes from RJ and Bobby. Bobby, you just heard it, saying this team, they'd get swept, to RJ Choppy talking about World Series if they were able to get in. So we had not winning one game to World Series predictions in the car ride home from Cowboys practice.
I mean, that's the part for me. Like, if this team were to find a way to sneak in, they're a team. Nobody wants to face DeGrom and Eovaldi at the top of a rotation in a short series. You're going to see them twice in 7 games. You're going to have to beat one of them at least one time because the chances are you're not going to get swept in the other games. So, to me, that is a complete trump card on everything. You know, that is worth the opportunity of getting minor leaguers that you're never going to see. This was a trade deadline that nobody gave up anything of note. Maybe the Astros when they overpaid for.
There were a couple overpays yesterday.
They overpaid for the Cooch, but I still don't even think they gave up a top 100 prospect. They gave like their 5th prospect and like their 6th, their 19th.
And look, the Rangers, they had an opportunity to move definitely the biggest name at the deadline that would have gotten moved in Eovaldi, and probably from a prominence and a name standpoint, like, I mean, you're talking about the Rangers could have moved 3 of the top 5. So regardless of what you want to throw out there about what was moved, we have no idea what it would have been for Eovaldi, because Eovaldi could have been the biggest name that was moved. And you could have been at the top of the trade market.
I don't know whether this was a PR move, whether this was a leak, whether it was an empty speech to the team. But Buster Olney was on TV yesterday with the ESPN coverage, and he said the Rangers are going for it. And Chris Young gave a fire and brimstone speech to the team 1 month ago. And they were giving him all this credit that he's a player, and other GMs who are not players do not have this type of aggressiveness, and he just understands and he gets it. Ken Rosenthal, with an hour to go in the deadline, said they were still looking for a bat. They were still looking for a hitter, and we did not end up getting it. So I don't know whether that was just a talk from CY to get the guys believing a month ago. He knows he can go in there and say, guys, we exhausted every opportunity. No one wants to help out the champs because they know how dangerous you guys really are. You've underachieved, but you're really dangerous. But the point of it all is a lot of talk, a lot of bluster for a reliever.
Yeah, and it's I've seen this movie before. This is the Mavericks for 5 years in the later Dirk years, just refusing to just even in one season say, let's just miss the playoffs this year and try and position ourselves better for next year. It's the absolute refusal to say they wanted to give up on any single season where Dirk was still here. And that's where the Rangers are at in this particular season. They don't want to give up on a single season at this point. And I know we've heard the argument, Mike, Jared, both have said similar things about the idea of, like, well, there's something to be said for, establishing a winning culture. Yeah, you're fighting your ass off to be below 500 right now and play completely inconsistent baseball. That should tell you that this isn't the year. This isn't the one. And if you want to establish a winning culture, build towards next season and beyond. Do something about it.
I get what you're saying. I do. I understand.
It feels like negligence.
It's not negligence.
It does.
It's not, because, again, all you literally need is to find a way in, and they're 4.5 out. And they're only 4 in the loss column.
Pitching's been the problem for them?
No.
Nope. Exactly. So I don't care. I don't care about DeGrom and Eovaldi. They can't hit. We've talked about it since May. They've lost more games than anybody in Major League Baseball when they allow 3 runs or fewer.
Yeah, I understand. But when you're talking about going in the postseason, you're only going to be throwing. They may actually go into a postseason series and just throw 3 starters, and they theoretically could. They won't, because DeGrom, they're not going to be putting him on short rest. But we've seen teams do that.
DeGrom could have allowed 2 runs and struck out 16 last night, and he loses that game.
You're talking about one game.
No, I'm talking about 24 games this year where they don't score.
Cody Bradford gave up the blast to Tommy Pham, so welcome back, Cody Bradford. Max Scherzer lasted just 4 innings, allowing 3 runs on 4 hits. He struck out 5 and walked 1, and the Rangers lost for the 4th time in their last 5 games. We will ask Brett Boone at 9:20 this morning what he thinks the Rangers should have done, because you're going to have a lot of people, and they were on TV yesterday as well, saying, you're 3.5. You're 3.5 games back. You cannot, I'm doing the Tim Kirchin kind of right there at 4 o'clock in the morning. You cannot go ahead and run from that. You got to go ahead and attack. And then you can also say, I've watched and listened to this team every single game of the season. I know what they are. So that was Lance Lynn on the mound as the Rangers end up losing. 52-56 is the record. What else happened in the West last night? Well, the Seattle Mariners, they broke their little losing streak. They got a W. The Astros have now lost 3 in a row. So you're 4.5 games back in the West. The Astros, they're ping-ponging right now at the top of the division with Seattle in the armpit.
Well, see, if the Rangers have offensive problems, what does Seattle have? Who's 3rd to worst in runs scored for the year? Like, that is terrible for them.
3rd to worst in the AL?
In Major League Baseball.
Oh.
The Rangers are 17th in runs scored. You would much rather have
barely bottom half of the league.
You would much rather have 3 frontline starters in the playoffs, or 2 frontline starters in the playoffs, and a league average offense than the best offense and a league average starting staff in a postseason series. You'd much rather have that.
Yeah, I mean, look, they've scored 30 more runs than the Mariners this year, and they've also allowed about 60 more. So, I mean, things balance.
In the postseason, when you're not throwing back-end starters, there is no Andrew Heaney going or Michael Lorenzen in the postseason.
I don't know. I feel completely insane that this is not a more common opinion from people. And I don't know if it's still a high off of what happened last October or it's given people an irrational belief of just like, well, we pulled a rabbit out of our head, Jason Witten style once before. We'll be able to do it again this year. No, like there's a limit to what this baseball team is. And for 3-4 months now, they've shown you we don't hit, we don't score, and there's nothing indicative. Instead of looking at it and going, these are going to click, guys are going to click into place, there needs to be a question of look back at last year. Did you have about 4 guys hit career years? Because that's what the evidence shows us right now. And if that's the case, they're not going to click into that place they were at last year.
Other moves around the league. A.J. Preller was getting he's Howie Roseman.
He will make a move on you.
He also wins over the media. I mean, they threw him a parade yesterday when they got Tanner Scott. So Tanner Scott to the Padres. The Dodgers get Jack Flaherty from Detroit, and Garrett Crochet not traded. Not traded out of Chicago.
Yeah, they're going to try to move him in the offseason, but there was a sticking point that we talked about yesterday about him wanting a deal immediately and an innings limit, and that was just a major sticking point. And the White Sox were like, we'll trade you, but we're not gonna like kind of hold off and just take less for you, and that was one of the issues with him. But San Diego, they get Martin Perez, and I mean they just did a lot of things yesterday. So this was a busy deadline, not a lot of names on this deadline, but there's a lot of teams that took part, a lot of players moved over the last week or so.
Josh Young returned to the Rangers lineup. He was hitting 7th and playing third base. He ended up with a hit last night, and Jacob deGrom says he's confident he will pitch and contribute to the Rangers this season after a 45-pitch throwing session that happened yesterday. So there we go. That's everything you need to know. Anything else with the deadline that I'm leaving out? Missed opportunities, overpay, a name that moved, a name that didn't move.
Obviously the one that didn't move obviously was Crochet, but Baltimore they added and they subtracted. They also got Eloy Jimenez from the White Sox, who was there was a time where he was like the next big thing or one of the next big things. He was a very highly touted prospect. Those Keith Laws and Kylie McDaniel used to rave about him. But yeah, your 2 biggest names, they outside of Jack Flaherty yesterday, Jorge Soler moved a couple days ago, and so did Jazz Chisholm about a week ago, and really that was it.
Jazz is knocking the cover off the ball since he got to what was it? They had a note yesterday that he's the second player in Major League history to hit 4 home runs in his first 3 games with a new team in the middle of the season. He had a multi-homer game.
They're acting like this is like a city culture fit, like Showtime. Jazz Chisholm is made for a stage, and he's out there in New York. He's using Aaron Judge's bat to hit these home runs out there. So right now it is a perfect fit because all I've seen, I don't know, I need to reconfigure my social media because I'm getting nothing but Commanders highlights every day, WFAN every day, AMC, I'm fine with that with the movies, go movie theaters, but every Yankees store, every WFAN is about the New York Yankees collapsing. Every single one is about them absolutely falling apart, and here's Jazz Chisholm to maybe save the day.
Aren't they like 9 games under 500 since Dak put on the Aaron Judge jersey?
Oh, here you go.
I think that's when the skid started, or it was right around there. No, Jazz, but see, Jazz is still Jazz at the end of the day, and that's going to start rubbing people the wrong way. Right now, they're all happy with it. Did you see what he did the other night against the Red Sox when he stole third?
Yeah.
This dude stole third with nobody covering it, up 5 in the 9th inning. And everybody's like, look at the awareness. And do you know what his awareness was? The reason nobody was covering it is because he had just got done being examined by the trainer after he was slow getting up at second base. So everybody just kind of dispersed, and then I'm just going to run over and steal third up 5 in the 9th. I would have thought the Yankees fans in their baseball snobbery would have been a little more like, come on, Jazz, don't do that.
This is one of those things, like Sean, the culture fit of New York is there, but it's not the right team. because that team they're pretty stuffy. They don't like they're kind of anti-fun.
All right, we got Josh Young back, and we also have Trayvon Diggs back. Do we also have the next great Dallas Cowboys offensive lineman? Y'all, this was a fun practice to talk about, and we'll do it next. Live from Cowboys camp in Oxnard, it's Sean, RJ, and Bobby with the 6 a.m. Club. We go inside the Star right here on The Fan. But let me go ahead and take you inside the law firm of Frankel & Frankel. If you've been hurt in a car or truck wreck, call Frankel & Frankel first. It's Mark and Scott, the go-to car and truck wreck attorneys in Dallas, and they've been fighting for your rights for over 25 years. Before becoming personal injury lawyers, they defended insurance companies, so they know all the tricks and tactics insurers use to deny your claim. Trust the experienced, family-owned, and highly awarded Frankel & Frankel to put you...
It's true that you've got to forget something else to remember that Uber Eats has groceries.
No, that's absurd. Hey, remember when you used to be a, what was it, a pepper lady? Pepper lady?
Wasn't it Simmons sisters?
Basil babes.
Saffron Squad?
Nutmeg maidens?
Paprika?
No,
Nutmeg maidens.
I just said that. Was it Spice Girls?
Doesn't sound right.
Was it Saffron Squad?
Free camera inspection for peace of mind. Just another reason why.
Everyone loves bacon.
Hey, and it's back to Sean and RJ right here on 105.3 The Fan segment here, brought to you by the Good Feet Stores, Cars for Kids. Donate today at carsforkids.org, and also brought to you by the personal injury lawyers, Frankel and Frankel. If you've been injured in a car or truck wreck, call Frankel first, 214 or 817-333-3333. With Frankel and Frankel, there is never an out-of-pocket cost. They only get paid when you win. Frankel and Frankel, the go-to car and truck wreck attorneys in Dallas.
From news and notes to the coaches and players for America's team, let us go inside the stars on 105.3 The Fan.
Good morning, Metroplex. Shout out to the 6 a.m. club. Sean, RJ, and Bobby live in Oxnard, California through the end of the week. Brought to you by the On Time Experts, Best Buy Windows and Siding, and you're watching on the Uber One Fan Cam. Hopefully watching with the awesome numbers y'all are putting up this week on YouTube, the Fan Cam, and Twitch. Yesterday, Cowboys practice. First one with the pads on. Trayvon Diggs back with the team, but they're going to work him in smartly, not involved in yesterday's practice. We had Tyler Guyton, Mozzie Smith, RJ on Trey Lance watch, and everything else you guys want to know, you can text on the Franklin Frankel Injury Attorney text line.
Do you think we're going to be able to get more people on the fan cam this morning than were in the bleachers yesterday for practice?
I mean, it's not a big deal.
Mike Leslie finally took the photo. Finally put it out there.
That must have been the first second he noticed, by the way, because generally anything that'll cause stir and problems, Mike Leslie's going to jump all over.
I think today could be not an all-time great, but a hell of a performance from Bobby Belt on the radio show today.
Could be.
I'm sensing the camp frustration, like getting towards the end.
Yeah.
It's like when these guys start hitting each other and fighting with each other. This is how Bobby's doing with his takes, and hopefully not too much negativity.
The pushback on social media yesterday was, I mean, Mike Leslie said it was robust over the weekend. Was the word he used, Mike used.
Mike said it was a robust crowd
over the weekend. I mean, other than weekend crowds were fine. They were fine.
They were still low.
I think they were a little low. Maybe they dispersed things better with not just in the bleachers over there, but around the entire complex. But I thought they were still a little bit lower than normal.
This was Zeke.
The weekday is the low ones.
This was Zeke with Clarence Hill. Unfortunately, Clarence's laugh takes over this clip. This was Zeke being asked, and him asking, "Where's everybody at?"
You said less fans here. Why do you think that is?
No, I don't know. It's just I feel like normally, like the first couple of days, the camp would be packed, but I don't know why.
And look, everyone but like one or two like Mickey Spagnola type fans out there, like the diehard homers. Everyone is saying good. It's about time. This is what they get. So people are taking great pleasure, at least on my timelines and social media accounts, in these bleachers being empty instead of Jerry and company getting nonstop support for not only just coming up short, but this offseason tricking us with the all-in. That's the way the sentiment is. That's the feel right now.
Yeah, and and the other thing with the crowd, it's like, people bringing up, well, it's expensive to travel out here. I never got the feeling these were Texans flying out here for camp. I got the feeling these were local Californians who just made the journey from L.A., from Santa Barbara, from Lompoc. I mean, I never thought they were like people from like DFW or San Antonio, or like, guys, let's make a trip out to Oxnard.
That's why they come out here, is because they feel like they have a base out here.
Yeah.
And they feel like they can continue to establish it, and they want to hold their footprint. And I think anybody who generally has come out here in years past is probably the type of individual with some disposable income to come travel out to California and hang out for a week most of the time. So I don't think that's enough of an explanation to say that's the reason why there seems to be, I don't even know what the estimate would be, hundreds less than typical at these practices.
I would still be surprised, though, if you told me before we came out here that, California fans would turn their back on Jerry and company because of the off season. I would still think that they would view it as a once-a-year thing. Let's go out and see Micah Parsons and Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb.
For the final time, where you can see them all together.
That's right. So that continues to be a story out here.
Over on Cowboys Reddit, where the Mike Leslie photo was shared, here are the top replies on Reddit. Sadly, this would seem to be the only thing that really bothers Jerry in a meaningful way. Yes, let the apathy flow through you. Good. This is what the organization needs. It is universally great. Love it. It's so happy to see people are not accepting what the Cowboys are doing.
I can't wait to see what type of attendance number they come up with.
Have we ever seen attendance numbers? Like, have there?
Yeah, at the end of camp, typically.
Well, they have those little things we walk through, right?
I saw them. These two guys. These two guys yesterday didn't walk through the turnstile. They accidentally went off to the side, and the Oxnard worker. They're like, "Oh, sorry about that." The Oxnard worker goes, "No problem," and he goes, "Drink." And he rolls it twice, so they definitely are keeping track.
Yeah, someone's going to be out there rolling that thing like this, like crazy at the end of the every day.
All right, let's talk about practice because they were put on the pads for the first time, and Bobby, you had your absolute clear standout.
Yeah, it was Tyler Guyton, and he was not. When they put on the pads, he was not with the first team right away. It was Chuma Edoga, and it wasn't even subbing in from there. It wasn't even Tyler Guyton. When somebody would sub in with the first team, it was Awesome Richards. Well, Edoga ends up getting hurt a little bit, get a little banged up, and was pulled off to the side, was working with the trainer. And during that point, it was Tyler Guyton then stepping in with the first team. I was really disappointed because I had told you guys leading into practice, the only thing I wanted to get was Guyton versus Parsons one-on-ones. And when they were doing offensive line and defensive line drills, they moved Guyton on the other end of the field, and he didn't get a chance. So I didn't think we were going to get anything with Parsons yesterday, and it was still somewhat limited because, boy, they are moving Micah around a lot on defense in these practices. Micah is not in the same place anytime. There's a lot of different times where DeMarcus Lawrence is on the ground and Micah Parsons is standing up behind him, and they're rushing on the same side. And so he's moving around doing a lot of different things, but we got a good 4 or 5 reps yesterday of Guyton versus Parsons, and Micah couldn't do a thing. And
it was impressive.
It was very impressive. That dude is so athletic, Tyler Guyton, and so strong.
And so big.
And, yeah, he's
a monster.
Massive. And so it's one of those things where when you see him out there, it's like, man, there's going to be some bumps and bruises along the way. He had, I think, 2 or 3 straight reps early in practice with the second team where he just missed his assignment. He got up and he did he was the clapper. He's the guy who you never want to be the guy after play ends who goes and does that whole thing, and he did 3 of those in a row. And so early on in practice, it was not looking like a great day, but when the time came and he needed to stand up across from Micah Parsons, he was dominant. Micah could do absolutely nothing. It was starting to frustrate him. And, of course, I saw already there was a little bit of the covering fire from some Micah fans who jumped on there, and there were 2 takes he got yesterday. Micah's going half speed. He's not even trying to beat him. Or, boy, this doesn't make me feel good about Tyler Guyton. This is concerning. What's wrong with Micah? Why is Micah not beating him? Micah is clearly having problems.
Tyler Smith, I thought, gave John Machota a great quote after practice on Guyton. I've been truly impressed. It's not very often that you find a human being who measures how he does. 6'7", 330, and has light feet and can just move and just bully dudes. When he really becomes confident and gets the playbook down and does all that stuff, the sky is truly the limit. Confident guy. He knows the tools he has. He knows how rare they are. Just a matter of time before he solidifies things, and he's playing at that truly elite level. So Tyler Guyton really standing out yesterday out here at practice.
There are some teams who just know how to draft certain positions, and then this one knows how to draft offensive line.
Yeah,
and it's at least in the early rounds they can pinpoint a blue chip player on the offensive line. They can pinpoint who the guys are not going to be great on the offensive line in the first round. They just do. And it's a fool's errand to question that at this point.
I'm trying to even think who was the last offensive lineman they took in the first 3 rounds who wasn't at least solid. Chaz Green a decade ago, probably. Jacob Rogers, which is 20 years ago. No, but I mean Guyton looked fantastic yesterday. BB looked improved. That was encouraging. Man, if you get Tyler Smith talking about, boy, you don't normally see people that big, that light on their feet. That's what we say about Tyler Smith. being 6'5" and 325 and moving the way he does. That left side of the offensive line can be the biggest, strongest, most athletic side of an offensive line in the NFL if things click into place.
And I will focus on paying attention to Tyler Smith and Mozzie Smith because that's what I was focused on. And, man, the Tolos saw what I saw when it came with the Mozzie video. I don't know whether this is Tyler Smith being awesome or Mozzie Smith playing in quicksand. Mozzie got controlled on these 2 reps, but man, it looked like he was running half speed. Not that he wasn't even trying. Like I didn't see any like explosion. He got dominated in the reps. I thought he just was like, okay, let's go back to the huddle. Like it looked a little lackadaisical. It looked like a lack of power and explosion. And it looked like a lack of dog. That's what I saw watching Mozzie against Tyler. Maybe Tyler Smith is just going to be that great.
Does it remind you at all of the name we threw out earlier this week? Does it remind you at all of Tristan Hill at this point?
Well, here's where it reminds me of Tristan Hill. I would be out of here at practice, and I'd have to remind myself to watch and look for Tristan Hill.
He couldn't just flash for you.
Yeah, and out here, I had to remind myself, Mozzie's a name we need to talk about. Mozzie's a name to watch. Now, again, it's a little bit different when the pads are not on and they're not truly hitting. But in focusing in on that yesterday, I was like, oh, man, I do not feel good. I do not feel good about Mozzie Smith moving forward. But that's a couple of reps that I videoed and that I watched.
And that sounds like, when you hear us talk about, Tyler Smith dominating Mozzie Smith or Tyler Guyton.
Now, Patrick Walker would say I'm wrong, DallasCowboys.com.
Patrick Walker has been a fan of what he's seen from Mozzie Smith to this point. But when we talk about Mozzie struggling against Tyler, Micah struggling against Tyler Guyton, it sounds like the defense really struggled and the offense had a great day. The defense dominated the offense yesterday. I felt like they weren't moving the ball really effectively at all. One of the big takeaways I had was, dear God, you need CeeDee Lamb back here because they have no weapons when CeeDee Lamb is not out of practice.
Stephen Jones gave an update to San Antonio radio on both the contracts. Quote, right now the ball is in Dak's court, and we are waiting to hear from them. We keep having multiple exchanges with CD. He actually sent us something late Sunday. We continue to grind away on it. I would characterize both negotiations as very cordial and upbeat. We're optimistic that we'll continue to work towards getting something done. So the ball's in Dak's court to respond to something that they've thrown out, and CD's people have thrown their counteroffer towards the Joneses. I have never recalled Stephen Jones giving this type of update of the back and forth of whose counter it is, who's sent the latest information. I've never recalled that.
Pressure. He feels pressure.
They're negotiating through the public. Simple as that. It seems like they're negotiating through the public. It's at this point, it's like, guys, fans just want to hear it that it's done. Or in some cases with Dak, they want to hear it's not done. But with Lamb, with Micah, just about everybody wants to see it done, and I think most want to see it done with Dak too, because you want your team to. What you don't want is having a bunch of guys out there on 1-year deals playing selfish football.
All right, so there it is, Inside the Star, edition 1 this morning here. Hump Day is taking place. Oh, thank you, little Ollie Bear. Coming up next, we have R.J. Choppy's Olympic update. People are not washing their hands. The Caitlin Clark regret. Why is the United States so cheap when it comes to the medal money? Pedal to the metal. Edition 3 is next on 105.3 The Fan. But what is next for you in terms of that lunch and dinner today? I'm not eating any barbecue out here. It's just not happening. They're talking about...
Uber Eats has low fee products? I got to remember that.
Well, you know, they say in order to remember something, you have to forget something else. Okay, now that is a very cute haircut. That's like a little shag. I've never seen it before.
Well, I mean, of course you have. It's the Rachel.
Oh, is that your name?
No, I mean, like, your name.
No, I'm Jen. My name's Jen.
Right, but I just mean, like, this is your haircut.
But that's hair on your head.
I'm not saying this is your hair.
Okay, freaking me out a little bit.
August 10th. Sign up now at 1053thefan.com.
And it's back to Sean and RJ on 105.3 The Fan segment here, brought to you by Classic Chevrolet. Classic Chevrolet in Grapevine is the #1 Chevy dealer in the world. More Silverados than anyone else. This is Texas. This is Classic Chevrolet. Together, let's drive, relax, enjoy the difference based on new Chevrolet registrations 2023.
We'll take you around the rest of the NFL at 7 o'clock. And Bobby's enemy says the Cowboys are the 8th best team in the NFC, following up on what he said yesterday.
That Mike Leslie.
About Dak Prescott. It'd be funny if Mike Leslie took off his sweater vest and strangled you with it.
He's going to have Dale Hansen beat me up.
Sean Sharif, RJ Choppy, and Bobby Belt out here in Oxnard, California. Thanks to the Tolos for turning it on, leaving it on, and we are powered by Guardian Caps, Best Buy Windows and Siding, and Sagamore Spirit Rye Whiskey. Pedal to the metal.
Man, the U.S. just continuing to dominate over in Paris,
USA.
Paris. 26 medals. They lead the medal count. Now, China and Japan are leading the overall gold count with 7 each. France and Great Britain with 6, and the U.S. just with 4 golds. A lot of silvers, a lot of bronzes. 11 silvers, 11 bronzes, with the U.S. with 26 medals leading the way. Now, one of the golds they do have is the gymnastics team. The U.S. gymnastics team, the women's gymnastics team, absolutely wrecked shop yesterday in Paris, dominating the all-around. They win. Their margin of victory over second-place Italy was as large as Italy's margin over the 8th-place team.
Wow. Whoa.
Damn.
So 171 points to 165, and then the 8th-place squad, Japan, had 159.
What do they call themselves?
So Simone Biles was asked what they call themselves.
Who Bobby was crushing on during the commercial break.
Asking everybody, is Simone
cute.
Biles attractive? I think she's very attractive.
Didn't know you had that broadus up in you.
Yeah. They call themselves the F around and find out 5.
Whoa.
Yeah.
The F around and what?
And find out 5. There's 5 of them.
The F around and find out 5?
Yeah, so the FAFO.
Stupid.
FAFO.
Come on, it's way too long.
That was the nickname I gave to the Twisties in 2020. F around and find out.
I see what you did there.
I'm sorry. Yesterday, the whole narrative, the redemptive arc of Simone Biles, I thought was a little much.
Yeah, the F around Final 5 isn't quite the dream team from the rhyming standpoint, but it's a name. Yeah, I didn't quite get the redemption aspect of it. I mean, this team always wins. Like they're always.
You didn't get the redemption aspect of it.
No,
You forget what happened.
Her, I'm talking about for the team in general, right? Like they're always the best. I mean, they knew they were going to win.
No, but that was the narrative yesterday. Was the redemptive arc of Simone Biles? It's like I don't know that the 11th hour bailing in 2020 is something that I would consider a redemptive.
You
arc.
of all people should be supporting her the most because what she did is something that you would do. That's what I would do. All the things that she was dealing with upstairs or emotionally, that's you like coming back to the restaurant or coming back to the bar. That's what Simone Biles did yesterday and at these Olympics because you would have rolled out and picked up your gym bag and left as well.
And thrown your
same
chicken
stuff.
Wings.
So
he would
yeah,
have thrown his chicken wings. Just
wouldn't be eating chicken wings if I was in the middle of the Olympics. Okay.
Well, maybe after you're done, right? After you competed and you're not on your diet anymore, you might have done that. Now, a lot of people were taking jabs at Simone Biles' hair because she had a nice bun, but it kind of got messy at the top, right? And she explained what happened. First of all, screw the Paris Olympics. Y'all with your stupid climate, okay? Y'all trying to save the environment one 90-degree bedroom at a time. Now, I'm all for that, but my goodness, guys, this poor girl said there's no AC in the Olympic Village. They get them on a bus to go 45 minutes from the hotel, Olympic Village, to the site because the traffic took 45 minutes and road closures. There was no AC on the bus. It was 90 degrees outside and humid. And no air conditioning on the bus. And she's like, my hair got messy. Like, how do you have world-class athletes and no AC?
It's like your room, right?
It got cold. It was on for 24 hours a day for like 6 straight days, and it finally got down to 66 degrees.
Because you were not feeling the AC?
I was not feeling it, and then it got down, and now I am feeling the AC.
It's probably all the bourbon that was flowing through your veins when your fiance was out here. And yesterday, I could tell. I'm starting to think you got a light tolerance. You're not Bobby levels, but this stuff hits you hard.
I do not have a light tolerance. I dunk my liver in alcohol.
Yeah.
That's not a light tolerance. That's an overdoing of it.
Yeah, I would not say it's a light tolerance. I drink more than anybody at the station.
If I have one drink, I don't get buzzed.
That's not what I'm saying. You're both misunderstanding, which isn't surprising. Whatever, you can't comprehend it. When the liquor hits your systems, it hits you all. It hits you all harder. Like,
but it's the amount.
No.
Yeah, because
my brother, the same thing. Like, my brother, he can't have 3 drinks. His third drink on him hits him harder.
Do you think if you drank the way I drink, don't you think you'd be feeling the same sort of way?
Chugging it?
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, I don't know the same sort of way, but yes. It's not an insult.
Well,
your body's your body.
No,
your body's not a wonderland.
It's an insult to toxically masculine guys like us.
I also pregame.
That's the thing I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, I could tell you were.
Yeah, I also that's my age. I will not go anywhere. I won't go to Costco without pregame.
Are you going to have any bourbon left for Red to take on?
Well, yeah, I went and bought more last night.
Okay.
I'm just buying it left and right. Yeah, and like the whole life is a party, right? Life is a wonderland. Life is a party. Isn't that what John Cochran said? That's a highway. He said life is a highway.
Yeah, when you're down there and your eyes are half closed off your first drink, that's the impression I'm getting. But I didn't know that you were chugging liquor upstairs by yourself beforehand, so I retracted that.
If I have to deal with this over here,
you don't have to because he's not showing up to any dinners.
I'm going to dinner. So
back to the Olympics.
So back to the Olympics.
I can't wait for Friday's show. God, the mighty Brubin. You're going to see me throwing roundhouse combos.
I can't
You're going to be
wait,
impressed. You should wait. You should wait. You should poison me so I'm out sick Friday.
Ooh, I'm going to have chicken wings at the ready.
Let's head over to rugby. Women's rugby, the Sevens, they're called the U.S. Sevens. They don't usually win a ton of medals, but they use a 94-yard buzzer beater to beat Australia.
I watched this buzzer beater.
Yeah?
Yeah, I didn't understand what the hell was going on.
Me neither.
But they picked it up and ran, 85 yards.
94, 85, they just kept running. And I don't know what it means. They say it has something to do with football, and I don't know. I don't get it, man.
My brother was listening when I said his alcohol. Hey, same thing from my mother too, man. If that second glass of red wine just hits her different, it's the way people's bodies. It's the way they absorb.
So
body shaming.
There's a girl on this team named Alona Marr. Now, Alona Marr I've seen her all over social media. She's a beast, right? She's a big time, very active on social media. She's 5'10", 200 pounds. Okay, 5'10", 200. Someone on Twitter went at her with her body fat percentage, saying, I bet you this girl's got a BMI of 30%. And she went on social media just to single out and destroy this person.
I chatted with my dietitian because I go off of, facts and not just what pops up here, like you do. And we talked about BMI, and we talked about how it really isn't helpful for athletes. BMI doesn't tell you much. It just tells you what your height and weight and what that equals. I've said it before, I'm 5'10", 200 pounds. And I have this is an estimate, but about 170 pounds of lean mass on me. Do that math in your head, you probably can't. That's pretty crazy, right? And that BMI doesn't really tell you what I can do. It doesn't tell you what I do on the field, how fit I am. It's just a couple numbers put together. It doesn't tell you how much muscle I have or anything like that. So, yeah, I do have a BMI of 30. I am considered overweight. But alas, I'm going to the Olympics, and you're not.
Damn.
There's also some rugby player who arm wrestled Jason Kelsey.
And
he had
I saw that.
Really, really, really hard time with this girl with the arm wrestling. Yeah. He may have even cheated.
Monica McNutt is eating that up.
They're saying Monica McNutt?
Yeah, I don't know. That just seems like something she'd be really jazzed about.
Oh. Yeah, that
don't make too random a references, Bobby.
Oh, that's not random at all. ESPN's putting her in our face every day.
Yeah, so they're saying that he grabbed the table, so he was cheating. So there's Alona Marr putting that guy in his place. I want you all. Do you want to do the payout, or do you want to save that?
I want the payout.
All right, this is the payout. The Olympic Committee for the United States is only paying for a gold medal, $37,000 to these athletes. $37,000 to these athletes. Chad Ochocinco and Shannon Sharp are pledging their support to all the athletes who are going to win gold medals.
How much are individual gold medals worth in each country by territory? The U.S.
Wait, we only get 37,000?
We should at least 200,000. Hey, no allowed. If you win the 100-meter gold, me and Ocho, 25,000 apiece.
Bet. I don't like to spend no money.
You too, Sha'Carri.
You get that 100.
Nephew, hey, Rye, you win the gold, 25K. Noah Lyles trained 4 years for 9 seconds.
Noah, we got you. Oh, Sid.
Oh, the hurdle, yeah.
You might as well mail Sid her check now.
Yeah, that's 100K.
We good.
I'll pay $50,000 any American to break a world record. I don't give a damn what the event is.
Hold on.
Out of my pocket.
I got 50. Here go 50,000 right here. Sometimes you need a little motivation, right? I got another 50 right here. We not playing. 37,000. You done bust your ass for 4 years straight to represent our country, and the payout saying thank you for the work you put in is 37,000. Come on, man.
Singapore pays $730,000, $737 to be exact, to win a gold medal. If you win a gold medal, you get paid $737,000.
And where's this money? I have a lot of questions.
Mm-hmm.
Where's this money coming from?
The Olympic Committee.
Okay, and who gives the money to the committee?
They raise it. They raise money throughout sponsorships, like when they're sponsored by Nike or whoever.
Yeah. Do we not think that $700,000 is a little excessive for winning a gold medal?
Yeah, and is that 737 in whatever their currency is, or that's U.S. dollars? 737.
From my understanding, it's in U.S. dollars. They're just all fresh.
But I mean, how many golds is Singapore winning?
Exactly.
But still, I've always wondered. I'm like, okay, how many of these competitors, like, do they have other jobs? Like, are they like the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders?
A lot of them do. Like, they do some of the U.S. work,
Yeah.
like the archery or fencing. They probably have other jobs.
Like
I doubt Noah Lyles has another job.
When Sha'Carri Richardson wins her track and field event, that money's coming. How is she getting compensated? I'm talking about U.S. competition.
Like in the Olympics,
No, U.S. competition. Like
she wins another track event.
random event, non-Olympics.
I don't know. I don't know what that. She gets sponsorships, like endorsements and stuff.
Yeah.
I just like Spain's $100,000, U.S. 37, Italy is 200,000, Germany is 21,000.
Like Americans all just took this, they went into competitive mode of, wait a second, we're not paying six figures for our gold medals?
How many gold medals has Singapore won in the history of the Olympics, do you think?
3.
1. That might be worth $700,000 if you get them a second.
Norway, 0. Kazakhstan, they give you a 3-room apartment. If you win a gold medal, they give you a 3-room apartment.
With ants or without ants?
Without ants. Morocco, $220,000. I don't know. I just think that it's like incredibly low. I think they should get like $10 million for winning a gold medal.
That's a lot of money to dole out.
It's supposed to be for the pride. It's supposed to be for the spirit of competition.
That's why we call
it's
this
supposed to be
Pride
for
Month.
your country.
It is.
And you want $10 million? $1 million?
All right, I'll do $1 million. How about that?
No, that's too much. That's too much too.
Is 37 too low?
No.
So Shannon and Ocho are pledging what?
If you set an Olympic record, like $25,000 for Olympic or a world record or something.
That's cool of them
Yeah.
and smart.
And very smart. Because I doubt they're going to pony that money up themselves. They'll get one of their sponsors to help kick in.
Does Major League Baseball have an NFL problem after yesterday's trade deadline? And is the next Dak Prescott on the Chicago Bears right now? That's next. Live from California, Sean, RJ, and Bobby continuing on The Fan.
Let's get you over to Platinum Chrysler Dodge Ram Jeep. It is, of course, a Stephen Gilchrist-owned store. Gilchrist Automotive hooking you up with.
Do you think it's true that you've got to forget something else to remember that Uber Eats has groceries?
No, that's absurd. Hey, remember when you used to be a, what was it, a pepper lady? Pepper lady?
Wasn't it Cinnamon Sisters?
Basil babes.
Saffron Squad?
Nutmeg maidens?
Paprika?
No,
Nutmeg Maiden.
I just said that. Was it Spice Girls?
Doesn't sound right.
Was it Saffron Squad?
From our Hiley Mazda of Arlington and Hearst studios, this is Sean and RJ on 105.3 The Fan.
The pitch is swung on and driven deep to left field. Going way back is Langford. He's at the wall. That ball is out of here. On the first pitch from Scherzer, Mason Wynn hits his 7th home run of the year. And it's 1-0 Cardinals.
Good morning, Metroplex. Thanks for being a Tolo. Peyton says we have some awesome YouTube and Twitch numbers that hopefully carry over from the 6 a.m. club here on Sean and RJ as the Texas Rangers end up losing to Lance Lynn and the St. Louis Cardinals 8-1. They had Max Scherzer on the mound. They got Josh Young back. They made a move during yesterday's deadline, and it did not matter in the game.
No, it didn't matter in the game. It didn't matter in the construct of not just this game, but it may not matter for the rest of the year. I mean, they didn't even use the guy that they got in the game. They didn't find a way and weren't able to get him in. But they do get beat, and now it's about trying to figure out a way to make this division, the Rangers division, lose, because the wild card probably is going to be too difficult with the amount of teams they've got to jump.
So we added 2 relievers at the end of everything and lost Lorenzen.
And a catcher. You added Carson Kelly.
Yeah, so like very, very minor stuff for the Rangers.
It was minor. I think that's how I would describe the deadline in general across the sport, would be minor. There were 29 deals yesterday.
Is that minor?
The names that were dealt were very, very minor. There was Juan Soto wasn't dealt from Washington to San Diego kind of deal, right? There was Garrett Crochet was the big name. Luis Robert was a big name. Nathan Eovaldi was a big name, and none of those guys got moved. But again, 29 moves, it's a lot. But like no one's dealing. A lion's share of the people that were dealt are relief pitchers. Like that's just the way it is now.
And Bobby, you're not thrilled with what the Rangers ended up doing.
No, it's again, you willingly decided you were going to make your team worse for the future yesterday, in the name of going for it. Because this, again, we're not talking about, well, they need to trade off this guy who they have 3 years of control left, and they need to sell. We're legitimately talking about veterans on expiring deals who are not going to be back, most of them, and you held on to them in the name of a 2024 run. Again, this is not about the future or anything else. This was...
All right, give me give me the names that you're referring to.
I mean, Eovaldi is somebody who's going to opt out. Robertson, Yates, Nathaniel Lowe, Adolis Garcia. These are all names that, very well could not be back next year. And that's something where it's...
And if you look at value, right, the next question is, well, what were you going to be able to get for them? Obviously, Eovaldi, you could have gotten a ton. Yates, one of the best closers in the entire sport. Adolis Garcia for the postseason. So we're not just talking about, Andrew Heaney was a name that was thrown out there.
Yeah.
You're not going to get as much for him, obviously, as some of these other guys.
No, but it's if you look at the fact that if you were to move Eovaldi plus Yates, you're probably getting a pretty good return. Or Eovaldi plus Robertson. Like some team wanting to go into the postseason and there were reports yesterday.
Now, if they re-sign Nate Eovaldi, you'll back off this a little bit.
No. Because to me, it's they could have had the exact same setup that the Yankees had with Chapman. I don't think Nathan Eovaldi would be when they traded him away and signed him back 3 months later.
Okay, well that's a little presumptive.
I don't think it is.
But this is what hang on. This is what Sandler got on you about a little bit when you got mad at him. Like you just automatically assuming the next step of, we'll let him go, and then he's just going to go ahead and come back.
Do you think that's offensive to him that he would just say, "Well, I'm ruling you out, and I'm not going to come back to Texas"?
It's not offensive, but it is presumptive.
But again, I don't think trading him makes the difference. Like if you're going to be able to re-sign him, I think you're going to be able to re-sign him whether you trade him for the last 2 months of the season or not. I don't think trading him away is like, well, that was it. I was going to re-sign with you, but not now. You did me wrong. You did me dirty. Well, I did you dirty by what? Like trying to strengthen a team you're going to be back with next year?
The other team probably has the intent on re-signing him as well once they trade for him.
All the reports from Baltimore coming out of the Orioles were that they were ready to take on rentals if necessary. That they just wanted big time October players. And yesterday the buzz finally started that Baltimore was in if Eovaldi was going to be on the market. And it didn't happen. That to me is just they did it in the name of a 500 baseball team, and it's there's a little bit too much. I think everybody's still a little too hungover or buzzed off of last October to see it clearly. It feels like.
I understand what you're saying. If they were to trade away Eovaldi and all those guys at expiring contracts, and then you add in Nate Lowe and Adolis Garcia, like, you're not competing for a championship next year.
Why?
You're not going to remove, because the assumption is that this team may not spend because of the uncertainty with the TV deal. So if they were to remove Adolis and Nate Lowe for this lineup, and then remove all those pitchers,
so do you think this is the end of their window? Because a bunch of those guys are not going to be here next year.
I mean, look, I think there's a chance.
So 24 is the end of their window, even with DeGrom coming back for a full season?
Well, no, because Adolis is not. I don't believe Adolis is done after this year.
I think his contract
is
up.
Has like another year of arbitration. Because like these guys, they have like 6 years to control these players that are on their rookie deals. I look at it like, you have a chance. You're 4.5 out, or I think it was 3.5 at the time in the division. Take your chance. Take your chance with DeGrom and Eovaldi at the top of rotation in a playoff series. Because if you go into a playoff series with DeGrom and Eovaldi at the top of the rotation, the Vegas bettors will be betting on that team.
If this is the cap on their window, then their window's already closed. If this year is the end of their window's already closed, because this team's not winning this year.
I don't think they're winning this year either, and I do think you could lose Robertson. I don't care about, no offense, I know he's Jared Sandler's podcast partner. You can lose Nate Lowe. You can lose Adolis Garcia. You can replace, you can get another closer. No one thought that Kirby Yates was going to be lights out like this. They did acquire Kenny Powers, though, from the Detroit Tigers. He's got a shirt that he wears that says, "Eat happy, not healthy."
Yeah, what's the email there, too? I guess there's an email where you can get, like, a Gmail account where you can send him an email to get life advice.
No, I did not know.
It's like chaffinadvice@gmail.com or something.
Andrew Chafin, the 34-year-old, comes on over from the Detroit Tigers. A 3.16 ERA in 41 relief appearances, a 3-2 record, and 1 save in 4 opportunities. So he's had an 11-year career with 5 different clubs.
Yeah, it's chaffinlifeadvice@gmail.com. This guy just exudes, like, he looks like he lives in the woods. He looks like his Twitter handle is @BigCountry1739. He's got to change that bio because it says Tigers pitcher. But this is a man's man. This is a man's man out there. Looks like he just loves to fish and hunt and do all the things. So the Rangers got themselves a good one.
I don't even know if that's fish and hunt. That looks like beer, just beer on the back porch.
Josh Young returned. He had a hit last night, playing third and batting 7th. And Jacob deGrom had a 45-pitch throwing session yesterday. He's confident that he is going to pitch and contribute to this Rangers team this season. But very, very minor things done during the trade deadline. What is their NFL problem that you brought up?
Well, so if you look at it from the NFL standpoint, the NFL never made trades. They never had a trade deadline. It's become much more active, and I think problem with Major League Baseball right now. And like I said, 29 moves yesterday. That is pretty darn. That's a lot of moves now, but no major names like Jack Flaherty at the deadline getting moved. All right, that's not a name that's sexy. It's not a sexy name. And to me, the issue is the playoffs, the parity in the sport. There are so many teams still alive. You really have, right now, if you go to the standings, 5 teams that say they are unequivocally out with no chance. 5 in the entire sport. All the rest of the teams are within 8 games of a playoff spot. And if you wanted to go down to 5 games in a playoff spot, then you're only removing 10 teams. So you only have 10 sellers. Like, if they want to improve the deadline, to me, get rid of divisions, top 6 records get in, open up the entire process. They won't. They love divisions. All leagues do.
Aaron Rodgers is apparently not going to play any preseason games for the New York Jets, and Caleb Williams is apparently not playing in the Hall of Fame game opener.
Ooh. Listen, I don't care about the Bears. I don't care about their health for the year. I don't care about how safe they want. I care about my entertainment. That's all I've ever cared about, Sean. You know that.
Yes.
I want to see Caleb Williams play. I don't care if he hands off 3 times. I just want to see him out there. I want to see him out there. Do I care about Roma Dunze? No, I don't care. But I care about the quarterback.
And you crush Aaron Rodgers isn't going to get any preseason reps.
I mean, look, it's we don't even know for sure yet. Saleh said he thinks that's what they're going to do, but they don't know for sure because Aaron hasn't told them what he's going to do yet, and Aaron hasn't told them what he wants to do. And Aaron, of course, runs the entire Jets organization and gets what he wants. And man, we're seeing what the Packers had fought against for basically 20 years, which was don't let Aaron just do whatever the hell he wants because it becomes a disaster. Now what you get is where did he go this summer? Where was it that he disappeared? Egypt? Yeah. So now you're getting him disappearing into Egypt, not getting his mini camp reps in, being off target with Garrett Wilson. If he had those 2 extra practices, and I damn sure guarantee he doesn't get his foot stepped on and fall over at practice the other day, Chop. He's going to know where his footwork needs to be. But this is what happens when you just let him determine everything. Saleh legitimately yesterday said, I don't know. We're having discussions about it. But basically it was up to Aaron Rodgers to decide what they do.
Kevin Byard sat down at Bears camp and talked about some Dak Prescott-type intangibles with Caleb.
This was literally just last night we did our walkthrough. And we finished the walkthrough. And, Coach, he's talked, and, players usually break down. It's usually a veteran breaks it down. And Caleb wanted to jump into the middle to break it down. And usually, as a rookie, it's like, oh, what does this guy got to say?
Right.
But no, he honestly was just like, hey, first thing he says, he's like, hey, man, we're all grown men here, right? As we're going through training camp, and we all use the hot tub, we all use the cold tub, we all use the bathroom and all the areas. He was like, hey, man, we're getting a little too sloppy. You know what I'm saying? We're leaving water bottles and towels and all type of things around, man. These custodians have a lot of square footage they have to cover at this whole building. Let's try to help them out by cleaning up after ourselves. And that's just little things, man, because I just think that when you want to be a great player, you always focus on the little details.
Caleb Williams, according to the Score in Chicago, picking up that trash on the sidelines like Dak Prescott.
I like this kid, man.
Are those strong intangibles?
I like this kid.
Are you surprised, given everything else we know, that Caleb Williams is complaining that it's too messy around here? Y'all need to clean things up a little bit more.
I mean, this is the same guy. This is a good teammate. Same guy at USC decided that he wasn't going to take an NIL deal, and he gave the deal to his offensive line.
He did not take NIL deals?
He did.
Oh, just
but
one.
There was another one.
He took NAIL deals.
I can't remember what the company was, energy drink or something. He was like, nah, give it to the offensive line guys.
Okay.
So he gave it to them to split it up. I thought it was a pretty good gesture.
All right. Jared Sandler may end up being right.
I do like he rallies the team together. His first speech is, guys, the bathrooms are filthy. You guys need to pick up your trash.
877-881-1053 in order to hit us up here on the Franklin Franco Injury Attorney text line. Let's go back inside the Star. Someone on TV said, with CeeDee Lamb, with him, the Dallas Cowboys are the 8th best team in the NFC. Are you freaking kidding me? Let's see if Bobby loses his mind again during the commercial-free expressway, where we will also chop it up next.
But let's get you over to SotaWeightLoss.com, SOTA Weight Loss.
Uber Eats has low fee products? I gotta remember that.
Well, you know, they say in order to remember something, you have to forget something else. Okay, now that is a very cute haircut. That's like a little shag. I've never seen it before.
Well, I mean, of course you have. It's the Rachel.
Oh, is that your name?
No, I mean, like, your name.
No, I'm Jen. My name's Jen.
Right, but I just mean, like, this is your haircut.
But that's hair on your head.
I'm not saying this is your hair.
Okay, freak me out.
For August 10th, sign up now at 1053thefan.com.
And it's back to Sean and RJ right here on 105.3 The Fan. It is the Expressway right now on The Fan, and it's brought to you by the On-Time Experts.
From news and notes to the coaches and players for America's team, let us go inside the stars on 105.3 The Fan.
Pretty fun day out here at practice. I was even hoping for a little bit more as you had O-line versus D-line, pads on. Bobby was in love with what he saw from Tyler Guyton against Micah Parsons. I was not in love with what I saw with Mozzie Smith taking on Tyler Smith. And we're going to have one of our favorites on. DeMarvion Overshown, the Texas Longhorn, is going to sit down with us at 8:40 this morning. When they asked us who we wanted, we said Ferguson and Overshown, and we're going to get both of them along with Mike Zimmer. He was high up on our request list, so thank you, Bront.
New number this year for DeMarvion Overshown. We're number 13. I'm kind of surprised he didn't go back to 0. I'm going to have to ask him about that. Why didn't you go to 0? You are Agent 0. I figured you would have embraced that. That's a number that's out there and available now.
Gilbert Arenas.
Oh, well. I mean, that's what he goes by, too, though. You're going to have to confront him about that. I did happen to notice. I went back and listened to a little bit of our interview last year, Sean. Choppy mocking DeMarvin Overshown's shoes, the Hey Dudes, which Choppy, 1 year later, now wears and says they're super comfortable.
I don't have those.
You just said they were super comfortable during one of the breaks. You're like, they are comfortable. I like them.
I understand they're comfortable. I still don't wear them, but I understand they're comfortable.
All right, what else happened? Wanye Thomas had a pick six.
Soundbite of the day from you, picking him up on the field.
Yeah.
I do this S. Sounded like me.
Yeah, if only I had the actual play. But I had to rely on you for that. But Wanye Thomas got Cooper Rush with the pick six. Kyle Yeomans with other practice observations from DallasCowboys.com. Guyton and Hoffman, impressive on first day of pads. Overshown, explosive at linebacker. Passing game struggled as a whole. Turpin getting involved on offense. Liked Mozzie and Goldston's effort. Communication was good at second level, and lots of defensive combos.
Turpin time. That's what it is. He's lining up in the backfield. Like, they're giving him pitches out of the backfield. This isn't just jet sweep stuff. He is in the backfield lined up as a running back, which, man, that does start to make you question your depth a little bit. When Kevontae Turpin's taking snaps at running back and Deuce Vaughn is taking snaps at receiver, and Marshawn Neeland is playing defensive tackle. It's like, man, this is starting to feel like a whole team of Marquise Bell playing linebacker last year.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, look, that's what happens though. That's what happens with the way the organization did the offseason. The whole thing is a house of cards, and one guy goes down, and it's a trickle down effect, and that's what you're going to wind up having. And you're going to have guys playing out of position. And you start moving guys around instead of keeping guys in their spot, and instead of having one guy out of position or one guy that's reduced, you've got 7 guys out of position trying to fill one void.
They need to get that CeeDee Lamb contract done. That was one of the big takeaways I had yesterday watching them in pads. Is none of these guys are getting open. None of them. I mean, look, yesterday the thing Tyron Billy Johnson was getting praised for from the coaching staff was the 2 interceptions he broke up. That was almost picked off. Good job, Tyron, fighting through that, knocking the ball down a little bit. Racy McMath had a quick moment, I think. Racy McMath and Tyron Billy Johnson have shown up at these practices. I do like, I was talking to John Machota yesterday.
Well,
he was like, man, that's the most varsity blues receiver name I've ever heard. Like, what are we going to name this receiver?
Tyron?
Well, no. We'll name him Racy McMath. That's perfect. That's the perfect name for a receiver. But those two have shown up. They've got a shot to like fight for a roster spot, especially with some of the depth issues that this team has.
I can't be around him and Machota because they're both wearing hoodies. They're the only it's 80 degrees out here. They're wearing hoodies.
Machota too?
Yeah, both of them.
He was forced to be around me yesterday when he tried to challenge security walking up the platform, and I was like, don't do that. They're going to tell you no. And he's like, I'll get by. And he comes slumping back over and goes, they did not let me by.
They let me by eventually. The other lady did. I had to schmooze her. I said, listen, I had to schmooze her. She commented on the shirt that I was wearing and the hat and started the conversation and then just walked in.
I thought that was the other security guy you were getting hype with. I thought that's how you were trying to get through.
Oh, no. That was a guy I'm just I'm still butthurt over the weekend, so I'm trying to pick fights with him.
Okay.
It's not the one you want to pick fights with, I'm just telling you.
Yesterday, we played this clip of Dan Orlovsky naming his top 5 quarterbacks in the NFC.
I would right now, if you asked me to rank the NFC quarterbacks, it's Matthew Stafford 1. I would probably put Jordan Love at 2 and Brock Purdy at 3, but if you flip-flop those guys for me, I would have no argument on that. I'd probably put Kirk Cousins at 4 and Jared Goff at 5. So Love is on his way. The 9-game stretch, he was one of the best quarterbacks in all of football. But Stafford is still
where the hell
at
is
the top.
Dak Prescott, Dan?
I was about to say, I mean, I didn't. Did you purposely leave out Dak? Did you just overlook Dak Prescott? I mean,
who are you putting Dak over? You going to put him over Jared Goff?
You tell me. You would take. I mean, Harry.
Did he just say all of them?
Does Dak? I mean, Dak wasn't he runner-up for MVP last year?
The MVP of the league at one point last year.
Okay, that is not his most offensive Cowboy take of the week.
You're kidding.
It's not even. It's not even close. This is Orlovsky yesterday, not in terms of them being cheap, but in terms of where he puts them in the NFC with. I had to go back and listen to this 3 times. I'm like, okay, without CeeDee, I kind of get it. No, with CeeDee Lamb. This is what Dan had to say.
With CeeDee Lamb, I would put the Cowboys at 8th in the conference right now, out of the playoff.
With him.
With him.
With him on the
He's
team.
on the football
They're
team.
the 8th best team.
8th best team.
Wow.
If he's not on the football team, I'd have him as bottom 3 in the conference because of some of the departures. Here's the truth about the Cowboys.
Stop.
They're
Stop it. We'll play the money spending clip in a second. I'm trying to get to 8. Choppy.
Right, Philly, Detroit, Green Bay,
San Francisco.
San Francisco.
He would put the Rams.
Yeah, he loves his boy Stafford. Okay, that's 5.
That's 5. If you want to throw Atlanta, I think Atlanta generally.
He thinks Cousins is better than Dak. So yeah,
I think people genuinely think Atlanta's gonna be decent. They're still Atlanta though. They're still gonna find ways to mess it up.
Yep.
So who's one more?
I think they would also say Tampa.
Ooh.
Remember Tampa made the playoffs last year, won a playoff game. People like Baker.
Yeah, they made the playoffs like the Rangers might make the playoffs.
Right. So I think those are the teams.
Rams, Atlanta, Tampa, all better than the Cowboys with CeeDee Lamb. I think that's more offensive than having Dak outside the top 5 of NFC quarterbacks. They're both offensive.
Where do you have them right now?
Who?
Dallas in the conference. With CeeDee, I think I'd have them 5th.
5th?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, behind?
Philly, Detroit, San Francisco, and Green Bay.
Wow. Okay, so you have Philly better?
Right now.
I'm pretty shocked.
I mean, look, the coaching staff is a big difference right over there. The offensive coordinator makes a big difference.
Don't forget
no,
quarterback.
I'll stop trolling for just a second and be serious about it. I do think that right now Philly's a more talented team than Dallas.
But what about the quarterback difference?
Yeah, I mean, that matters. That absolutely matters, but I don't think it matters enough to cover over what is a pretty deep Philly team. Philly's pretty strong across the board. I don't think some of the exaggerations like Bucky Brooks putting them as the top team in the conference the other day on his list as, that's the best team in the NFC, Philly. I think that's ridiculous, but they are deep.
I think Dan Orlovsky does the best job of fooling other people in the media. I think he does the best job, at least, of getting inside my head and making me ask, is he pulling the ESPN troll? Is he reading off the same script? And because he slides in DMs and because he comes across in other ways with his personal interactions so genuine and not like a diva, I fell for it. But, there's just no way for me to not believe now that he's another paid actor.
Look, if you're going to get them to 8th, you would have to believe that the best case scenario happens for those other teams.
Mm-hmm. And the worst case scenario.
And, I mean, not necessarily the worst case, but damn close
Pretty
to the
close.
worst case scenario happens for the Cowboys. I talked to my handicap buddy yesterday, my guy Bo.
Well,
and I said, how many games if CeeDee Lamb does not play a game this year, how many games would Vegas move their win total? And he said no more than 1. And that's a lot for a wide receiver. So there's only a handful of wide receivers out there who would even get a full game. So if you think the Cowboys are a 12-win team with CD, Vegas would not make – now they would never put somebody at 12. They would put them at 10 or 10.5. If CD was going to be out and the Cowboys were 10.5, Vegas would not move them below 9.5 for the whole year. So they're not moving from 8 to 14 with one guy being gone.
Forgetting Vegas handicap odds then, because obviously nobody goes – like you said, they're not setting an over-under 12.5 for Dallas or anything. But forgetting that for a second, Sean, how many wins do you think realistically, not in Vegas terms, realistically is CeeDee Lamb worth? 4 to 5?
Yeah, I mean, at least, I was going to say 3 initially.
I don't know. When I look at this...
And it could be 4. It could be 4 or 5. Let me just say it in a different way. Dan Orlovsky is correct. If CeeDee Lamb is not out here, this team is guaranteed not to make the playoffs.
They can't score.
It's guaranteed.
Yeah,
that's not happening. Especially with what they're relying on at running back. You want to tell me they're going to go Bill Parcells ground and pound? With this dynamic, amazing running game, and Mike Zimmer's defense is even more all-world than Dan Quinn's, and they're returning even more touchdowns and taking advantage of all the special teams, and Turpin is running kicks back. They're not making the playoffs without CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
Period.
No, I think that's 100%. I just don't know that they would be able to score consistently if they don't have CeeDee.
Okay, so let me throw this at you. I'm not saying I disagree, but if that's the case, that proves that you shouldn't pay him.
Knew you were going there.
Because
Dak,
right,
or Lamb,
Dak. Because Mahomes did the same thing with him. He makes it. Now, you can't compare.
Well, but we always say you can't compare, but we always throw his name out
because
first.
you have to.
You don't.
Well, yeah, you have.
You can't. You don't have to when you say you can't compare. That doesn't make sense.
Show of hands, who thinks the Bills are going to miss the playoffs this year?
Potentially.
I think they could.
They almost did last year, if not for a miracle run in December.
They had an awful start to the season.
They had a strong close. I mean, it wasn't just a start. It was the first 3 months of the year.
But I don't judge quarterbacks like I can give you bums everywhere. I don't judge that I have to pay you off of I can give you bums and you still have to make the playoffs. That's me.
Okay.
I don't believe you can just surround people with garbage. Garbage is harsh. You know what I'm saying? You still have to give some people. The Kansas City Chiefs offense, I'm not going to let you or anyone else forget that offense was carried by their defense in the regular season.
In part, for sure, it was. Absolutely.
Like, the strength of their team, like, we've had 2 lulls in this Kansas City Chiefs run of their offense. One was, oh, my God, how are they adjusting? Teams are playing cover 2 high, and they're not being able to pick you apart underneath. They had a lull, and then last year, their defense carried them throughout major stretches of the regular season. I don't judge a quarterback off of now, I'll give Mahomes more props for winning a Super Bowl, like in his all-time great discussion. But just because I don't think this team can make the playoffs doesn't mean that I think I'm not paying Dak Prescott. If there's no Lamb?
How much of a schematic advantage, are we talking about? Is Andy Reid?
Well, I mean, look, it's hard to quantify.
But I mean, consistently, Andy Reid throughout his entire career has put out offenses that produce, regardless of Mahomes or not.
I'll challenge back, and this may be a longer discussion. Give me the worst wide receiving cores that made the playoffs with a great quarterback. I think we can point to like Brady's early teams.
But
Mahomes. But what with Brady's early teams? Just like with Roethlisberger's early teams and Russ's teams, we talked about their defense.
Sure.
The Patriots' defense won those early titles. Then he got Gronk. Then he got Moss. Then they exploded. So give me, Peyton Manning never went without, ever, in his entire career.
Nope.
Ever. So we can't judge him. Elway, despite what you all say, those early Broncos teams, none of those receivers could sniff a Hall of Fame.
They weren't great.
So
at all.
I would come back with, all right, give me the crappy wide receiving cores that went far with a great quarterback. It doesn't happen.
It necessarily doesn't happen. You're right. But for me, if I'm going to pay the quarterback, I'm paying the quarterback to be able to get to the playoffs and win with crap. So,
but give me the instances when it's happened.
It doesn't have to happen.
It
does. It
has to be. It has to happen to be realistic.
But that's the point. To me, if you can't do it, then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to recycle a quarterback every 4 years. That's what I'm going to do, and I bet you that's what Shanahan's thinking.
So your plan is I'm going to keep recycling until I find Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
or Josh Allen.
You're waiting.
Because I think Josh Allen's going to do the same thing this year.
Well, we don't know.
But you wouldn't have taken Josh Allen.
Huh?
But you wouldn't have taken Josh Allen.
Me?
Yeah.
In the draft?
When he was coming out, he was
absolutely would have.
You've talked about Allen when he was coming out.
I would have taken a quarterback in that spot. John Elway talked about that the other day. He said his biggest regret was taking Bradley Chubb. I was like, well, yeah, no S, dude. You would have said the whole word. I said, no S, dude. You didn't have a quarterback.
I want G-Back for that.
You didn't have a quarterback. You had to take it. Even if you didn't like him, you had to take him. If Josh Allen makes the playoffs this year, right, which he's going to, I mean, I think he's going to be the 1, 2, or 3 seed. And by the way, the Chiefs still had the 8th most efficient offense in the NFL last year. That plays into it, even though that wasn't great. It was not their normal offense. To me is the barometer for who I'm paying.
Okay,
I think Dak at this point in his career can do that. I think Dak can get the Cowboys without CeeDee Lamb to the playoffs.
I think it's too high of a barometer, but I do believe that you have to, the great quarterback has to make Laurent Robinsons.
Yeah, absolutely.
Has to make, you have to make bums.
The moment Dak gets $60 million, his job is to make Billy White Shoes Johnson a serviceable NFL wide
I totally
receiver.
agree. I agree.
Which, there hasn't been the need to do some of that, but I mean, regardless of what people want to say, when they're like, well, Amari Cooper, like, he has consistently shown, like, receivers who come here do produce at a higher level than what they just come off of, and when they leave, they don't produce at the same rate.
Like
Amari, Randall Cobb, both of those guys were examples of guys who got here and started producing more. Randall Cobb had not produced a season like the one he had here in Dallas in 3 years, and then he ends up leaving here, and it didn't produce the same way since. And, I mean, he's retired now, but, I mean, Randall Cobb was somebody who produced better. Amari Cooper had completely – people thought it was an overpay to give a first-round pick for him and thought that Amari Cooper had, like, been essentially a supernova and just, oh, look at this bright flash early and then burn out behind it.
I mean, Randall Cobb definitely had better years in Green Bay.
Cobb had better years in Green Bay. Cobb, the previous, 2 years, had not produced at the level he came to Dallas and did.
Yeah, he had more catches 2 years prior, not as many yards, did have one more touchdown. And who was Amari Cooper's quarterback?
Derek Carr, who everybody tried to compare Dak to.
Well, not everybody.
Not you.
877-881-1053. So that is an Inside the Star Expressway. We are commercial free. DeMarvion Overshown will sit down with us at 8:40. By the way, Stephen Jones with a contract update says that the ball right now is in Dak's court. So that means they have sent a counter offer to Prescott and his team. And CeeDee Lamb and his agent sent something to the Cowboys on Sunday night. So it sounds productive. And they're both going to get done. They are. We'll see what happens with Micah Parsons. It's a hump day.
Hump day.
Expressway. Let's chop it up.
All right, here we go, fellas. Let's have a little fun today.
Oh, man, Gen Z, I absolutely love them. I try to start everything I can with them. But
put your fist bumping, Ruben.
That's right, Ruben. Ruben's generation.
Light show, baby. Light show.
46% of Americans surveyed said they've experienced an increase in desire in the bedroom form since returning to the office. But a majority of them are women. The Gen Z men, Ruben's men, are not getting busy.
Ruben's men
are not getting busy. For whatever reason, Gen Z men do not engage the way we engaged.
Ruben
back
Sullivan.
then. And it is the women. The women are kind of carrying the torch for all the giddy up in the bedroom right now.
Who do you think gets married first between Ruben and Peyton?
Peyton.
Okay. How long you been with your girl? Was Ruben nodding in agreement? If so, don't
Ruben,
say.
I didn't notice if he was nodding in agreement or not. I just know Ruben's been with his girl for a long time, and Peyton's trying to get married after 4 months.
Yes.
It's been 9 months. But,
9 months, sorry.
9 months. 9 months. All right, so you mentioned Hawk Tua girl there, Peyton. You played the clip. We appreciate that one. She is one step closer, gentlemen, to joining up on OnlyFans. One step closer, because she is signed on with FanFix, so she can connect one-on-one and show more of her daily life. She says nothing is going to be salacious on this. I'm not going to do anything, but the people have spoken on social media. There it is, boys. One step closer to you-know-what. Just make it official and get the OnlyFans.
So is this an OnlyFans competitor?
I don't. It's not a there doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of nudity and stuff on this FanFix from what I've been able to see. But everyone's saying I've called it. So yeah, she's trying to create money and content. She was on stage again last week. She was on with Bill Maher on his podcast. It was very
Bill Maher.
Yeah, Bill Maher. You remember Bill Maher?
Of course.
Remember Bill Maher. That's why he reacted the way he did.
Yeah.
So she
Are
had
you surprised that the 5 minutes of fame is not up yet, or is it up?
It's up from the standpoint that she's basically a one-trick pony here. She's got the Hawk Tua. That's it.
She's a one-spit pony.
One-spit pony. And people are saying there's not a whole lot to her.
Yep.
Right?
There's not a whole lot to her.
There's not a whole lot to her.
She's cute.
She is.
But I don't think she is. She's not as grimy as everyone was hoping for, and she has a boyfriend.
Well,
and
you know what? She was on with Whitney Cummings. And that's actually her name. She was on with Whitney Cummings the other day, and she was talking about who her celebrity crush is. She said it was Matt Rife. And Whitney Cummings like, I know Matt Rife, and like
the old Falcons quarterback.
No, the guy who's been they've tried to cancel a couple different times. She FaceTimed him like live on the podcast and let him talk to her. And it clicked in my head. I was like, man, how much longer is she going to be able to stave off the idea of Matt Rife or just this lifestyle of all these dudes who are clearly throwing themselves at her? How long is she going to be able to just hold that off and say, I'm going to remain committed to my my Pookie, as she called him.
I love you, Pookie.
Matt Rife has over 8 million followers.
Yeah, he's a big massive deal. And man, he went from a busted grill on Wild 'N Out to now he's cleaned it up. He's got the veneers and everything else.
Oh yeah, they're saying that he got he got the jawline done. That he had jawline surgery. And everything.
I can see it.
The ladies love it.
He's got a funny bit where he's like, you guys probably say like, how did somebody as attractive as me get into comedy? And he's like, this just happened in the last 6 months, you guys. Like, this is new for me.
All right. Chopping it up here on 105.3 The Fan. Women are now done with some of the new Lululemon leggings. They're called the Breeze Through. Why are they done with them? So the initial reason for these leggings, because
Breeze Through,
they have this. Most leggings on Lulu have the seam in the front, and the women don't like the seam in the front because it creates a visual down there of being able to see everything. So now they've got no seam in the front. Now I think that makes women look like a robot. It looks like a Ken doll.
I'll take a little sip.
But the reason that they're not liking these is because in the back, the way the seam in the back is, it looks like you've got your underwear sticking out of the back of you. And they're not liking, as they call it, the whale tail. That's what they're not liking. But so they're complaining with it. But the main issue is that these are also creating the muffin top look. Which, listen, I love Lulu. Let me tell you something. Right downhill. I can't tell you the last time I've purchased Lululemon because of the quality of the apparel.
Yeah, I'm wondering. I'm amazed about thinking about the demographic that this topic is hitting with Lululemon shoppers and women with muffin tops. Amazed.
So you're in agreement with this then? You're RJ no seam choppy.
Pretty much no seam.
Look, just let Kim Kardashian make every single undergarment or whatever these little tricks are. Whatever she touches turns to gold with what she has done. And then didn't the owner of Lululemon say we don't want fat people in here?
Yeah, we don't want everybody shopping for our clothes.
That should have had you standing in line.
Loved it.
Yeah,
loved what he said.
I know you loved it.
Now, with soda weight loss.
We don't want fat people in there.
Loved what he said. But they're
talk about the most overpriced thing. One of the most overpriced stores. It's criminal.
Peyton shops at Lulu still. Like he's.
Do you, Peyton?
Yeah, I got the 5 inches. The 5-inch shorts. The 5-inch shorts. Come on.
I was like, we know you got the 5 inches.
All right, so this is a visual one, but I want to get your take on who was in the right here versus who was in the wrong. I don't know if you saw the video of the Miami road rage incident that is sweeping the nation.
Yeah, Carter's going to put it up right now on the fan cam.
All right. So,
psych.
R.I.P. Ryan.
There's a woman in a white SUV and there's a guy in front in what looks to be a Corvette convertible.
Corvette.
And to the left is a vehicle. It's a red vehicle, another sports car that's filming the entire thing. The woman in the white SUV throws what looks like a Mountain Dew bottle at the guy. Left hand heave out the window.
Do the do.
The guy grabs it, runs up to her car, does a jump, neo.
That's the most impressive thing.
It really is.
It's not that he karate chopped her side mirror off. It's the vertical that he took to generate the power.
Why did he need to do that?
I don't know.
When he jumped in the air, I watched him and I was like, I think he jumped in the air with no clue what he was going to do to the car. And then he was just like, I'll hit the mirror, I guess.
He does the jumping Neo side, chop mirror from the Matrix and just gets that side mirror out of there. So then she takes a picture of his license plate. Who is in the right here? Now, I hate these videos. They start right at the middle of it. You don't see the beginning fight.
Yeah.
Did she rear-end him? Was he being slow? Did he cut her off earlier? But based on what we could see, right, who is at fault? The woman for throwing the initial bottle or him for the retaliation?
Yes.
I mean, this is an impossible question to answer, but, he chopped off a piece of her car. He's more in the wrong.
But, well, so here's the thing.
She threw the bottle.
She escalated.
Did the bottle hit his car? What did the bottle hit?
Not hit his car. Hit him.
Oh, it hit him.
He was out of the vehicle.
So she assaulted him. He just hit her car.
Yep. Okay.
She's more in the wrong, I'm going to say. He's a dope, too. You should just, at that point, go ahead, call the cops, say, I've been assaulted. She assaulted me, and let them come take care of it. But
the jump was awesome, though.
Her whole filming the license plate and then trying to be like walk over to the people in the other car. Did you get that video? Did you get it? And like totally victimized. Shut up. You're an idiot, too.
Peyton? He's not listening.
Peyton.
Yeah, I'm here.
What are you doing?
Nothing. I'm here.
No idea what we're talking about.
What are we talking about?
No idea. After Lululemon, I checked out.
Okay, so what are you doing?
It's not even Thursday.
I was podcasting.
Oh.
All right. Okay. All right.
Wanye Thomas just retweeted me.
Well,
16 minutes ago, so he's up early.
We woke him up, probably.
Should I tweet him and say, come down here and talk about your pick six?
Yeah, but say for Friday.
No, we'll just get two guests. We can get two guests in the show. We're going to have
one for the plug and one for the load.
Overshown today at 8:40 and Mike McCarthy tomorrow at 8:30. And Eric Chiafalo is going to jump on for some segments tomorrow. Although I feel
Corey
like
Majors, too, apparently.
Yeah, I feel like the prank. I think Corey just gave away their prank. They're up to something because they both said, "Can we do some segments on your show?" You know,
they want to have segs with us
from 4 to 8 o'clock locally, and something's up.
Something's up. Let's do the pickup line
They
segment.
probably both just want to get in on the McCarthy interview.
Maybe.
Since Bobby won't be participating.
I participated last year.
Let's do the pickup line segment here.
Yeah.
These are so this was a study was done on the worst first messages to send to somebody that you meet on a dating app. Okay, the worst is the ones that give the ick, as the girls would say. The worst ones, this is according to women, the worst ones they receive.
Does toilet paper go over or under?
That was the second one. The first one was salsa guac queso. The first one is Wolchuk's favorite line, send pics. That is 45% of women
customized ones?
Say if you say send pics, that is a complete and utter no deal at the start.
That's a shutdown.
At the shutdown at the very start. So if that's one of the first things you say, send pics. That's 45%. 44% say Peyton would disagree with this one because it worked. What's your number? They don't want to give the number away until they really meet you.
Within 24 hours. That's my rule.
What you got?
Yeah, within 24 hours of you first talking to them, you got to get the number. No one wants to be messaging on the app, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, Bumble, whatever.
I'm just happy. Welcome to the subject. Happy you're paying attention.
So another one. This one's kind of specific. So if you're talking, you just chit chatting very very early on, and you say somebody says, "What are you doing right now?" And she says, "About to go take a shower." And when the guy responds with "without me." Question mark. Instant shutdown.
That's good.
It's a good, clever line.
That's funny.
38% of women, though, done at that point.
What are you doing? Say, like, what's your reply, like, about to get in the shower? Like, what response do you expect to that?
Nothing, really.
It's like, oh, I hope you get clean. Like, what are you supposed to say?
I hope you get clean. Maybe you do loofah or no loofah. How about that?
That's a good one.
Does
Loofah or no
anybody use
loofah?
loofahs anymore?
You what?
Does anybody use loofahs anymore?
Like the poofs?
Yeah.
I do.
You do?
Oh, yeah. What do you use?
Did you bring one?
No, I didn't bring one. I use a washcloth.
Did all you guys bring your own soap?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't. I've been using but I bring it just in case.
Okay,
But I've
so
been
you're using the liquid.
Yeah.
The Chiafalo wall liquid.
Yeah, I mean, I brought my own, but that was only in case they just had the bar soap. I don't want the bar soap with that one random hair getting stuck to it.
It's your hair.
I know, but still, it's just. Plus, it's like, I want to scrub.
Okay.
Scrub. So others ones saying these are cheesy lines like, "I think my Spotify is broken. You're not listed in the hottest singles."
These are all RJ Choppy lines.
Absolutely.
And I think these will work. I think these should work.
I think some of these,
Depending on who it
people,
is.
like I think this one's really good. 18% of women say they're out on this one, but with a guy says, "Thanks for not unmatching me." That's a self-deprecating line. I think it's
thanks for what?
Not unmatching me.
Okay.
Like thanks for keeping me around.
Okay.
A whopping 56% of respondents deem messaging hard work, while 40% saying they were bored with it. They found messaging to be hard work. So, like, trying to keep these things going. That's the whole point of this thing. That's the entire point.
Do you think there should be a service where, you know how you can join people on your phone call, like the three-way call?
Yeah.
You should be able to tap in a service for someone to type and spit the game for you.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Isn't it like tap into RJ Choppy to sit there and make all the lighthearted jokes and this type of
like
humor?
Cyrano.
I don't know what that is.
Cyrano is the I can't remember what the play is, but it's like the guy is he's ugly and he gives pickup lines to the guy to tell the girl on her stoop.
Yes, because people can gain access to your phone. We know that because of RJ's ex. So you would just go ahead and do this same thing to have them take over your phone and type in the lines.
89% said a dull opening message is a complete ender.
So
and
much pressure on it.
3/4, so 76% of respondents admitted they've lost interest in someone who messages too much. So too many messages early on. So it's a very fine line.
Chopping it up every hump day.
Hump day.
During the commercial-free expressway. Thank you guys for turning it on, leaving it on your home of the Rangers and Cowboys. How many Cowboys are in the top 100? We have a list of the latest update of the best players in the league and the NFL player going off on his radio show. Has it ever happened, and should it happen to us? The NFL audio of the day that you have to hear next on The Fan. But you have to be...
Do you think it's true that you've got to forget something else to remember that Uber Eats has groceries?
No, that's absurd. Hey, remember when you used to be a, what was it, Pepper Lady? Pepper Lady?
Wasn't it Cinnamon Sisters?
Basil Babes.
Saffron Squad?
Nutmeg Maidens?
Paprika?
No,
Nutmeg Maidens.
I just said that. Was it Spice Girls?
Doesn't sound right.
Was it Saffron Squad?
This is Sean and RJ on 105.3 The Fan.
8 o'clock hour. Ruben thinks this is fist pump time. That must mean he's very excited with the way the program has gone so far and where we are going.
These little light switch raves he's throwing on.
Sean Sharif, RJ Choppy, and Cowboys insider Bobby Belt here on your home of the Cowboys and Rangers, brought to you by the on-time experts, Best Buy Windows and Siding, Uber One, and the Men's Tee Clinic. Let's update the NFL Top 100 list, the 100 best players in the league, chosen by those who actually run around and play here on the field. We left off with Cowboys corner Deron Bland at 31. And by the way, yesterday I was just noticing they just need to make a rule. Stop throwing at Deron Bland out here. Stop throwing at Deron Bland because he was breaking stuff up again. I know that my new Twitter buddy, Wanye Thomas, had the pick six return on Cooper Rush. But Deron Bland, is he approaching? I'm not going to say shutdown, but you know where my mind is going. So he came in at 31. At number 30, Deebo Samuel. At 29, Khalil Mack. At 28, Brock Purdy, who you guys have both brought up the issue of his next contract and getting paid.
Yeah, this is Bill Barnwell wrote about it the other day. The 49ers are setting this up, it feels like, in a way that's very similar to the way Dak was when he hit the end of his rookie deal.
Yep.
That there's this growing discussion of, well, how good is he? How much
Tua.
of a system is he?
This is a Tua comp.
Do you think? I think he's better than Tua by a significant amount.
But it's the Tua discussion.
Yeah,
is he a product of the system? Is he a Mike D'Antoni point guard? That's the analogy. That
And is everybody going to hit that if you're in a San Francisco system? Like, are people going to talk about that if you're playing for McDaniel or Shanahan or, I mean, shoot, didn't Slowick come from that? Like, I mean, I assume people aren't going to say that about C.J. Stroud, but it's still, there's a discussion now about there's a talking point that says, look, if you're not going to win with Brock Purdy on the rookie deal, you can't pay Brock Purdy top of the market money because you're going to start depleting what has made him good.
What did Gavin Dawson call him the other day walking into practice? He said something really offensive.
He said he's 10% better than Brian Hoyer. It's like...
Look, I've made up my mind on this one. I'm paying Brock Purdy.
He's good.
It's not that hard to see for me the big-time throws that he makes. That's how I judge you. Can you make big-time throws? Are you checking the ball down and someone's taking it 70, 75 yards? And I believe Brock Purdy is better than Tua. I'm more impressed with the big-time throws that he makes than Tua.
His rookie year, I think a lot of that you could make the claim of just he was bus driving and he was basically keeping things safe. I think you saw last year, like he was doing things within that offense that were him more than the system.
So... there's a stat in baseball, weighted runs created plus. It's 100 is league average. Anything above, or OPS plus. Let's use OPS plus. It's easier. 100 is league average. Anything above that is your percentage above league average. In Brock Purdy's first year, same stat for the NFL, he was at 123, so 23% above league average. The next year, 146. Only one guy in the history of the NFL for a player in their first two seasons had a better one than that.
Clint Sterner.
Dan Marino. That's it. Dan Marino. Mahomes was fourth, and he won the league MVP in his first full season. Kurt Warner was fifth. Ben, Peyton, they were all in the top 20 in their first 2 years. Like, everybody in this statistic has had a flourishing career.
So Ben was better than Matt Ryan, is what you're telling me.
I don't know if Matt was in this or not. But the point is that you've got guys up and down this list who have excelled in those specific categories. Sure, there's holes in his game. Like on third and long, is he as great? Which is where you need to be great to be elite. Yeah, maybe not. But I'll tell you this. He's got a 56 QBR in those situations, which is sixth in the NFL. I'd pay him.
So Purdy's at 28. Nick Bosa's at 27. Mike Evans, 26. Jalen Ramsey, 25. Dexter Lawrence from the New York Giants at 24.
there may not be a player who has a larger gap between themselves and the next best player at their position than Dexter Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence is so incredibly good as a nose tackle that it's not even – there is no one in the NFL in the same stratosphere. There was a point last year –
Where are you putting Chris Jones?
I view Chris Jones as kind of a hybrid with three technique stuff. Like Dexter Lawrence is a 1. He's a nose guard. But, I mean, there was a point last year where sacks from the nose guard or quarterback pressures from the nose guard position, B.J. Hill was second in the NFL with 6, and Dexter Lawrence was first with 31.
Wow. And they're going to have Brian Burns up there, too.
Who left practice yesterday with an injury.
Oh, he did?
Mm-hmm.
All right, this is the NFL Top 100 voted on by the players. 23, Amon-Ra St. Brown. And then another Detroit Lion, Penei Sewell at 22. A.J. Brown coming in at number 21. So that's the players voting on it. Of course, Jordan Love was ahead of Tua and Joe Burrow on this list now all of a sudden, and Deron Bland at number 31.
Boy, you're going to end up with 3 Cowboys on the top 20.
Yeah.
That's because, I mean, CeeDee Lamb was 34 last year. Dak was in the 50s, I think.
Let's go through the 1, 2, 3. How will the players vote them 1, 2, 3?
Oh, man. I would say they put Micah 1.
I would guess it's going to go Micah,
tough,
Dak, Lamb. They put heavy weight towards quarterbacks when they come off big years. And so, like, there's a part of it, because, I mean, Jalen Hurts was 5th on this list last year. Has he been mentioned yet? If he hasn't, he's not on the list. Because, I mean, he's not going to be in the top 20 after the year that he had.
Well,
no.
I mean, how many if we've already gotten through Burrow and Dak. I'm sorry, Burrow and Love and Purdy. How many quarterbacks will be in the top 20? You look at Mahomes and Dak and Josh Allen,
Lamar Jackson,
and Lamar.
Probably that's it.
Which seems low.
In the top 20.
I have to go back and look at other lists, but
yeah, I mean, you could conceivably. CeeDee was so good last year. I wouldn't be surprised if you potentially sneak. You know what? It probably is going to be Dak in the 3rd spot because there are still so many people that think, oh, Dak is ass or whatever. Like
so you think Micah, Lamb, Dak?
Yeah, I'm going to flip on it and say Lamb's the 2nd highest one. But Lamb and Micah in the top 15. I bet Dak falls somewhere today when the list comes out between 16 and 20.
All right, 877-881-1053 is the Franklin Franco Injury Attorney text line. How about this explosive audio out of Tennessee? Titans Radio is on the scene.
Mike Keith.
Who's this?
He's Mike Keith. It's not Mike Keith. Mike Keith is their play-by-play guy. Touchdown, Titans!
Jeffrey Simmons is a defensive lineman who stopped by 104.5 The Zone. They're set and had some words for one of the hosts who were trying to interview another player. The P word is going to be used a lot here, and I think our P word got the bleeps.
Well, Jeff, you want to sit down? We can talk whenever you want to talk. Jeff, we'll deal with that later. Roger McCreary sitting down with us here on 104.5 The Zone. Jeff, I mean, we're on the air right now.
You do a lot of talking on social media.
I'm right here, Jeff. We can talk anytime you want to. Unbelievable.
We got to make that happen.
Well, we'll deal with that later on. Roger McCreary sitting down with us here on 104.5 The Zone. Jeff, if you want to sit down and talk about this, we can talk about this.
I'm telling you, stop talking on social media. Talk to me.
I'm talking to you right here. Jeff, we tried to talk to you last week. I'm being rude to Roger. We'll deal with you later.
So Jeffrey Simmons, stop talking smack about me on social media.
Jeffrey Simmons comes off as a massive loser in this audio. Because to me, like, if he's sitting up there going like, oh, I'm going to – what he wanted was he wanted to confront him and have him cower, and he didn't. He said, sit down, let's talk. I don't want to talk to you. Stop talking on social media. Talk to me then. Don't talk on social media. Talk to me. I'm talking to you. Sit down and talk. I don't want to talk to you. Okay, well, all you wanted to do was you wanted to come over here, have him get intimidated and go, oh, my gosh, Jeffrey, I'm so sorry. And he didn't do it. And instead, he was like, sit down then. Let's talk. Let's talk about it. And so Jeffrey Simmons comes off really poor in this because he walked up trying to bully, essentially. And it didn't work. And that sounds like Chris Collinsworth. No, I don't know him at all.
So this guy's name is Buck Reesing, this is by far the youngest guy named Buck I've ever seen. All right? This guy named Buck here. I've never seen a Buck.
Oh, my gosh. He looks like he's 28 years old.
Yeah, he looks very, very young. And, I mean, they got into it. You don't see this often. Now, if this guy, they say he's a Titans beat reporter, and he's also a radio host, so, like, he's obviously in the locker room a lot if you're a beat reporter, and you're going to be having to break news and do all those things. That's what beat reporters generally do, Bobby. And, maybe he said something or broke something that they didn't like. Like, that's part of the deal, man. You're in the NFL. Like, this guy's got a job to do. What are you going to do? You can get upset because he said something about you didn't like?
Well, we also don't know.
We don't know what he said.
We don't know what he said.
Right.
I've been looking for some of the tweets that people have not gone and dug up and found, but a couple of Tolos have asked, what's the closest that this has happened to us? Has it ever happened to us? Did you think it was going to happen? I thought there was a slight chance that there could be some discomfort if we sat down with Micah and Diggs here at the tent. I always think that with Mike McCarthy because of Bobby. But a big blow-up with someone going off, I've not had that. Frank Martin, when I was in Kansas City for a year, he made it known to me that he was very, very aware that I was calling him like this loose cannon hothead, this nut job on the sidelines. We were at the Big 12 tournament. And he walked by and I can't remember what he said, but he said something to me. He said it in a nice way too. But he let me know, I'm listening, and I'm very aware. I don't picture, maybe I'm wrong, I don't picture athletes in the Metroplex listening like maybe athletes in Tennessee or in Kansas City would be. I feel like those markets, the players and coaches are much more aware than the players out here. And with the way things have grown and progressed with social media and all the other options, I just feel like in a place like Tennessee or Baltimore, the players are so much more aware of what is happening on the radio.
You have to have non-rabbit ears to be here. In certain markets,
because all their attention, they know what's happening on national TV.
Right? No, for real.
Or be able to internalize and level. I think, to be honest, I think Diggs does hear a lot more than. I think he hears it as much as some more sensitive players over the years have. The Cowboys don't mind it because he seems to internalize and go, all right, I'll prove you wrong. It makes him mad and almost brings him up a level.
Yeah, there were reporters in the locker room at Valley Ranch back when I was in there, that were going at it with Jay Ratliff or Orlando Skandrick.
Jay Ratliff went at it with everybody.
Yeah, Jay did go at it with everybody, and Orlando would get confrontational. He would disagree with you. He wouldn't get physical, but he would disagree with you. But he wouldn't confront you like this.
Did you find any of these tweets? Because I looked and I found only two. Really only one that I think he can be mad about.
No, I haven't found them.
He said that there's tweets. If you look at him mentioning Jeffrey Simmons on his Twitter, it's all, whoa, Jeffrey Simmons is one of the best defensive tackles in football. Blah. There was one this week. Simmons just swung at J.C. Latham after some pushing and shoving. Ref said 98 would have been tossed in the game. He's back in for the next two and immediately starts a brawl. Sloppy. Simmons needs to lock the F in. That was it.
That's fine.
And he had a poll in June where he said, do you agree with Jeffrey Simmons that the Titans local media likes to hate the Titans? That's it. That's the only sort of negative things he said about Jeffrey Simmons.
Where did Simmons play college?
Mississippi State.
Okay.
Hale State.
Yeah, he's looking a little sensy. Looking a little sensy, as R.J. Choppy
He's a hothead.
would say. Is he known as that?
Yes, absolutely. He is a hothead.
DeMarvion Overshown will sit down with us during Below the Belt at 8:40, but a Rangers and Olympic update before Overshown next on 105.3 The Fan.
But let's get you over to K-Post Roofing and Waterproofing, the official roofing and waterproofing part of the Dallas Cowboys. That is a big, beautiful K-Post roof on AT&T Stadium. And in the home of the World Champs, and in the home of the American Airlines Center, and on my house, because I got the roof put on in early May. The brand new roof. I got the upgraded shingle, too, so I'm not going to have any kind of hail damage for quite a while. If that roof is over 5 years old, you've got to get it inspected. And they do a free roof evaluation. I said a free roof evaluation every year at K-Post Roofing and Waterproofing.
Uber Eats has low fee products? I gotta remember that.
Well, you know, they say in order to remember something, you have to forget something else. Okay, now that is a very cute haircut. That's like a little shag. I've never seen it before.
Well, I mean, of course you have. It's the Rachel.
Oh, is that your name?
No, I mean like your name.
No, I'm Jen. My name's Jen.
Right, but I just mean like this is your haircut.
But that's hair on your head.
I'm not saying this is your hair.
Okay, freak me out a little bit.
Do you think it's true that you've got to forget something else to remember that Uber Eats has groceries?
No, that's absurd. Hey, remember when you used to be a, what was it, Pepper Lady? Pepper Lady?
Wasn't it Cinnamon Sisters?
Basil Babes.
Saffron Squad?
Nutmeg Maidens?
Paprika?
No.
Nutmeg Maidens.
I just said that. Was it Spice Girls?
Doesn't sound right.
What's it, Saffron Squad?
To the pitch. Swung on and a high drive, well hit. Right center. That one is way back, and that ball is gone. A grand slam for Tommy Pham. And his first at bat back with the Cardinals. He has broken it open. It's 8-1 St. Louis.
Nadell with the call here on your home for Rangers baseball. They get blasted by the Cardinals 8-1, and they have lost 4 of their last 5. They make a minor bullpen pickup yesterday in Kenny Powers, I have to call him, from the Detroit Tigers. And Bobby Belt thinks they did not sell enough. R.J. Choppy is hopeful just to get in, as they are 4.5 games back in the American League West. Now, before we find out if they're labeled winners or losers for the trade deadline, by the way, DeMarvion Overshown, Cowboy linebacker, maybe the most energetic guy out here at practice, is going to sit down with us at 8:40 in Below the Belt. Let's look at the future schedule. They got a 6-game homestand coming up against the Red Sox this weekend, and then the Astros. And then at the American League East. You're at the Yankees, who have now picked it up here as of late, and you play Boston again, this time at Fenway. So 6 against the Red Sox in the armpit, and then 2 series on the road in the East against the Yankees and Boston.
I mean, look, that is not an easy schedule by any stretch. And you know, they did go, 5-2 on that homestand with the White Sox and the Orioles, and that was something that was talked about. We talked about with Sandler, and that was the number that you wanted to get to. So they put themselves in a position. Now they got to grind. Like, they've got to grind on this schedule here because it is not easy. And now, over the course of the rest of the year, you know, the second half, post-All-Star break, they did have one of the easier schedules in the sport. You know, they just did. They did not perform. They needed to win at least 1, maybe 2 more games in Toronto. Like, that was something that could not have happened and should not have happened.
And there's now 7 back in the wild card.
Yeah, the wild card is probably a bit ambitious. Yeah. There's too many teams to leapfrog. You're looking at the AL West, and that's it. And you're hopeful that Seattle's lack of punch and Houston's, inconsistencies from earlier in the year come back.
Yeah, and again, I think, though, that it's important to remember that, like, these are the same sort of talking points that Houston and Seattle are going to have within the division. Like, there's Seattle and Houston talk radio hosts right now talking about, well, you don't have to worry about Texas, though. I mean, yeah, they're 4.5 back, but they can't hit anything. So, I mean, you're not concerned about that. Like, the same sort of things we're saying about Seattle, they're going to be talking about right back here in Texas, because they haven't shown an ability to hit consistently the entire year. We now know it's looking like Evan Carter will be out for the rest of the year. You get Josh Young back, that's great. Hopefully Wyatt Langford, who hit a home run last night, like, he continues to progress a little bit. Those are all things that you're hoping for, but is Adolis Garcia magically going to click into place after 4 months? Is Leody Taveras going to start hitting? Those are the sort of things that I think you're looking at where you're like, I don't know that that's going to come around the way that you want it to.
Choppy, are they a winner or a loser?
They are listed in the winner category.
Oh, suck it, Bobby.
Yeah, so the biggest winner was the LA Dodgers. The biggest loser...
trust in ESPN lists now?
Is it an ESPN list?
It is. So the Dodgers added Jack Flaherty, Tommy Edman, Ahmed Rosario, Michael Kopech, and Kevin Kiermaier. It's a lot.
Texas's own Michael Kopech.
Yeah, Mount Pleasant, I think. The biggest loser they have as the Atlanta Braves. Other winners, Arizona, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Colorado, Kansas City, Miami, the Mets, the Yankees, Philly, Pittsburgh, San Diego, Seattle, St. Louis, Tampa, and Texas.
That's everybody gets a trophy. That was the entire league you just read off
It's
there.
an everybody gets a trophy list here. A quiet deadline for the champs, who are intent to get better on the strength of a thinning injured list. So they're basically using all these guys as guys to get better. Lorenzen dealt for a useful lefty prospect in Walter Pennington, upgrading that backup catcher, bringing in Carson Kelly. The biggest impact was the trade for Chafin, who immediately becomes Bochy's best southpaw out of the bullpen.
Who wrote this list? What person?
Is that a Bradford Doolittle list?
It just says ESPN.
Okay.
They asked their expert. They asked their
that is participation because no way you can have them on a winners list. That's weak. That's real weak.
Look. I love Chafin. He's an entertaining guy to look at clearly, and he's put up some good peripheral statistics. But I'm chafing that they didn't make more trades yesterday. They needed to purge a lot of these veterans. That was the issue. Thank you, Carter. Yeah, Carter liked that one.
It is Bradford Doolittle. Houston is part of the losers.
For the overpay?
Yeah. Kikuchi might help the rotation. They also got Caleb Ferguson, who's a reliever, who's pitching in big games. But this is not the kind of deadline you expect from a proud team. They're not proud. They're cheaters. With a shrinking contention window. I like to hear that. Shrinking contention window. There's a good chance they overpaid in prospect value to land the Cooch, a pure rental player. On top of all that, they did not address the first base situation. Brent Rooker sitting tight in Oakland. Guerrero still in Toronto. I mean, Brent Rooker's a guy, I think every team would have loved to have gotten. He's basically playing for free, and he's got like 25 bombs.
Why is Houston a loser, though, in that situation, not Texas? Because what was Texas's biggest problem?
Bats?
They got nothing. They got nothing.
Because what they're saying in here, if you would have listened,
I listened. The thinning injury list. It's the same thing. It's the same thing I heard last Wednesday up there about. Well, we're a better team because Trayvon Diggs has come back. We didn't need to add anybody because our injury list is
Josh
very thin.
Young is their big trade deadline acquisition.
All right.
That's how they're viewing it.
Okay.
All right. Well, maybe then they'll be able to win a series against Baltimore or actually steal a game against the BJs next time.
Well, they did win a series against Baltimore in the playoffs last year.
My girl Caitlin Clark is harming Team USA, just like everybody predicted with the Olympics taking place. The United States attendance drew the smallest crowd of all 6 opening games.
You like that?
How about that?
And the women's draw.
Yes.
In the women's draw, okay.
Yeah, Spain versus China, 27,000. Serbia versus Puerto Rico, 15. Nigeria, Australia, 24. Whatever, I'm not going to go through all. United States, Japan, 13,000. And people are looking at Caitlin Clark, who is very fed up and tired in grocery stores, taking pictures back in Indianapolis.
That's the story out there. I can't believe 27,000 went to an Olympic event in today's world. Nobody goes. The Olympics, like they're struggling all over the place. But she was in a grocery store, and there are 2 photos posted. It looks like they're in the same aisle, so these must have been friends. And she is giving the most I don't want to be here smile I've ever seen. There's no teeth.
No, it's Bobby at our team dinner.
Yeah, it's just it was
that bad.
I get sometimes you want to get your pineapple in peace. Sometimes you want to walk in the grocery store and just get your detergent or your pineapple.
What do you know about
maybe
that?
you need an apple. I do a lot of grocery shopping. I go to Costco like 4 times a week
for pineapples.
They're very difficult to cut. I prefer the pre-cut ones. There's also another option, Sean. She could have not be in the WNBA. She could have been like a marketing executive or a school teacher, drove a bus.
Or an NBA player.
She could have gone in the Air Force, been a fighter pilot. Cool job, but they don't recognize you. Those were the other options. But she chose to be the girl that changed women's sports forever. So she took the money from Nike. She's wearing a very inappropriate shirt in a public place. Maybe she should just smile next time.
What a terrible take by you.
What's the shirt look like?
What a terrible take by you. Either smile for every single picture in person that comes up to you or find another profession. Just get out of it. No one can ever be tired of the harassment in public.
She does look surly.
Looks surly.
They have worn this girl out since her tournament ended in March.
She draws a bigger crowd there in the soup aisle than the women's Olympic team does in the gym. That's impressive.
Plus, I'm sorry, you can't wear that hoodie and that pant combo. She's wearing black and navy blue.
Oh God.
Okay, you can't rock that. It's unmatching. Maybe just if you want to be the person that changes the world. Throw a smile on every now and then when somebody has to take a picture with you.
877-881-1053, the Franklin Franco injury attorney text line. Cowboys linebacker DeMarvion Overshown will sit down with us at 8:40 this morning. Nick Eatman at 9 and Brett Boone at 9:20.
Overshown, maybe the guy we got the most texts about at 6:20 when we started talking about practice. people on the fan text going like, what about Overshown? How did Overshown look? People are excited about DeMarvin Overshown.
I have assassination, HOA lemonade, and Kedalting.
Oh yeah, let's go with the HOA lemonade. Because these people are total losers. As Sean, you're very familiar with, HOAs are a scourge on the human existence.
You know, I'm happy with my HOA as of right now. They're not nitpicking. I haven't gotten a lot of nitpicks since I moved in.
What about other kind of picks?
I went to an HOA meeting on a Friday night.
Whoa.
Maybe that I don't. Guys, please don't ever schedule a 6:30 Friday night meeting ever again for the HOA. But I talked to the heads of all the different committees, and text 2 or 3 of them. So they're not messing with me.
Yeah, look, I hate the HOA.
I did have to pay an extra $5,000 that they screwed me out of.
Oh, wow.
Every house in the neighborhood, $5K. But besides that, it's all great.
I hate the HOA until I drive through a non-HOA neighborhood and I see a foot-high yard and
how do you know
garbage.
It's non-HOA? How do you?
It has a foot-high yard.
But how do you know
that's
that? How do you know you're not driving through non-HOA neighborhoods that look nice?
Because people are lazy.
Yeah, because people are lazy. And if you don't have to cut your lawn, you won't.
That's true.
why.
Well, one of the great things that HOA in Colorado is doing is they're making sure to put these little children in their place who want to have lemonade stands. They're making sure they understand. Don't you dare think you can just walk in here without a permit. HOA members in Summit County in Colorado tried to shut down a children's lemonade stand when they called the sheriff's office to come in there and have them kick them off the street. It is the Wilderness Homeowners Association, and they called multiple calls to Summit County Sheriff's Office complaining about children running an illegal lemonade stand.
Oh, no.
The caller said the kids were blocking the road. However, when deputies arrived, they found that the children were not blocking the roadway at all. Did ask them to move back a little bit from the road for their safety. Thinking the matter settled, deputies started to move out, but the homeowners came out and began yelling at the children, claiming they were now on private property after they moved back from the street. So the deputies had to come back. The deputies, again, found no issue with where the kids were selling their lemonade. The HOA is it's like an entire collective Karen. Like, whatever Karen energy exists is the entire thrust and thought process behind an HOA, and personally, I'm not going to stand for it.
I want to hear.
That's why I live in an apartment. It is to support the children who sell lemonade stands. I could live in a house. I don't, Sean.
Yeah.
Because I'm protesting these awful people who try and take money out of the pockets of little children.
And you have the
selling
same
lemonade.
amount of air conditioning as Simone Biles. So congratulations on that.
Yeah.
I want to hear from people who have
participated just as much in 2020 too.
I want to hear from people who have awesome. You are the Simone Biles of radio. So shut up. You are
Damn right,
bound
best
to
all time.
You are bound to run and bail and check out at a moment's notice.
Better than Tiger over here.
Tiger's a hell of a compliment.
I'm ahead of Tiger, though. That's how great I am, according to the ESPN list.
877-881-1053, the Frankel & Frankel injury attorney text line to hit us up on DFW Sports Station. He's one of the top 2 players that we requested to sit down with us here in Oxnard, the Longhorn, the linebacker, back from injury. DeMarvion Overshown on the Uber One fan cam next.
Uber Eats has low fee products? I gotta remember that.
Well, you know, they say in order to remember something, you have to forget something else. Okay, now that is a very cute haircut. That's like a little shag. I've never seen it before.
Well, I mean, of course you have. It's the Rachel.
Oh, is that your name?
No, I mean like your name.
No, I'm Jen. My name's Jen.
Right, but I just mean like this is your haircut.
But that's hair on your head.
I'm not saying this is your hair.
Okay, freaking me out a little bit.
Chevrolet, together let's drive, relax, and enjoy the difference based on new Chevrolet registrations 2023.
The great Bobby Belt.
You ruined the morning show.
Don't make me take off my belt. Don't make me take off my belt.
We're not. He gets tagged in a lot of that.
He was tagged in
There
this.
was stuff. The eyes of Texas are upon you all the live long day. DeMarvion Overshown, Cowboys linebacker, joins us momentarily here on 105 through the Fan. And I would say, our best interview at camp last year, just for everything that we're talking about, was CeeDee Lamb. But if you just want to talk about from an entertainment standpoint and like the vibes, the way we were able to connect, I think Overshown was right near the top.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for big excitement this year for the Cowboys because, or just in general, I'll say this. When I say big excitement for the Cowboys, if you want to talk about a position group that definitively is going to be better this year, it's linebacker, and he's a big part of that. And, you're going to see here in a sec when he walks in here, he's gotten, legit linebacker size. We felt a little bit last year yeah, he looks, is he big enough to be a linebacker? And, man, he has gotten jacked during the rehab process, which isn't always the case. A lot of times, guys who have time away, Mozzie Smith, that was the excuse for him for a while.
Yeah, he didn't even want to do this interview until he got his lift in this morning.
It's that meathead. Y'all are
Gotta be a
meathead.
meathead. 6:43 in the morning out here, and he's already completed his toughest task of the day. They say, make your bed when you first wake up in the morning. That's the first thing you do. And some people get the gym out of the way. That's the first thing they do. Because if you don't do it in the morning, you'll never do it.
That's why he wouldn't go to breakfast with us yesterday. He stiff-armed us at breakfast was because he said, I got to get my lift in, bro. If I don't lift right now, I'm not going to lift the rest of the day.
I'll miss it. I'll skip it.
And how many beds have you guys made out here?
That would be the Johnny Manziel 0.0.
Do you make your bed in the hotel?
No.
Yeah, no.
Brian does every single morning.
Yes.
Does it? And I did go in and sternly demand that they that housekeeping come in and make the bed.
We had
sternly demand.
Oh no, I did actually complain about it because they hadn't come in and changed my trash or anything for a week, and so that ended up getting.
And you wonder why you have ants,
right? Yesterday was the first day I got it made, and then I'm sorry, the day before, and then yesterday they made it again. With Sarah, she's like, no one's in the room. Thing on the door, the do not disturb. She don't want anybody touching their stuff. Nobody in the room. So we'd never get it made.
Well, you think they're going to take y'all's handles of liquor that you've saved $20 on?
Maybe. You never know.
All right, sitting down with us right here on the home of the Cowboys here with Sean and RJ is one of the top two requests that we had amongst player interviews. We got Jake Ferguson to start off camp, and sitting down right now in the Uber One fan cam is DeMarvion Overshown. New members enjoy 3 months free at joinuber1.com. What's up, man? Welcome back.
Man, it's good to be back. It's good to be back.
Did you get your lift in this morning?
Nah, we actually lifted yesterday. The defense lifted yesterday, but, I got me a good breakfast in this morning, and now I'm sitting here with you guys. I told them that I might be a morning radio host one day, so
there you go.
Got to warm up, Let me see what I made. Let me see.
Okay.
Let me see.
So, man, we had you on last year, and you were absolutely fantastic. And then you got the injury news. We were heartbroken for you. So how is year two after the recovery? We heard your GPS is off the charts. They got to slow you down out here.
Oh, yeah, that's actually good to hear because when I'm out there, I know I'm only getting 3-4 plays max today. So I'm telling everybody when I'm out there, I'm sorry, but y'all going to have to play chase when I get out there because I'm trying to get my GPS numbers because I know they taking me out right after this play. But it feels good being back, just being with my brothers again, not just, on the sideline being a cheerleader, but actually being in the fire with them. So, this is something that I just love to do. And it's more than just playing football to me.
Are they keeping you on a rep count for now, and how long is that going to last?
They definitely got me on a rep count right now. I'm not sure how long it's going to last. I think we're going to ramp it up a little more next week. Just getting us the feel on the first week in pad. So, definitely easing us in a little bit.
How long did it take you to fully trust the injury recovery, and you're like, I feel like I'm back? Because a lot of people, have that mental hurdle.
I definitely just throughout the whole recovery and rehab process, it was just one of those things that I went to my training sessions with, like, okay, today I just got to trust it. Whatever we do, whatever Britt throws at us, whether it's the bands, whether we just, get to run full speed for 2 reps, let me just go out there and just trust that everything is great. So when I come out here, it'll be easier for me to just run around and play football. So it really just carried out throughout my whole year recovery. Like every workout, I'm just like, you know what, forget it. If it hurts after, it's just going to hurt. But I'm just going to trust it. And now that I'm out here running on the field, I feel like my instincts are, they definitely back. They kicking in. Like it's something that I don't have to worry about on the field, whether my knee is going to be all right after this play or not.
Is it something though also with like the type of surface? So like have you cut on a turf? Like that first time you cut on turf versus grass, is that in your head at all, or was it?
I mean, now that you say it.
Dang it. No. Don't put that on us.
Now that you just said that, I really, a couple workouts before I came up here, I worked out on some turf, but it haven't been like nothing hard or extreme like playing football. So, when I finally get on some turf, it might be in my head now, but I'll be all right.
You're going to get us run out of town. The fans are going to blame us.
Way to go, Chop. We're talking with DeMarvin and Overshown here on 105 through the Fan. It's a lot of times when you look at position groups in the NFL, like the quarterbacks kind of hang with the quarterbacks, linebackers hang with the linebackers, defensive backs, and so on. I had talked to somebody this offseason with the team, and they had said, one of the great things that DeMarvin did was he hit this rehab group with him, John Stevens, and David Durden, and sort of took control of that as just like, hey guys, this is our group. Like this is what we're going to do, and we're going to attack this every day, and we're not going to be discouraged, and we're going to make sure that we're keeping ourselves accountable. How important was that to you to attack really early on with the three of you getting hurt really close together? Just attack like the mentality of like, we can't let ourselves get discouraged. We need to make this a tight-knit group where this is kind of our position group.
I kind of felt like, that was my role, even before I got hurt, coming onto the defense, like being a leader amongst, alphas. And I kind of took that into my rehab group as well. Like, if we really want to be what we want to after this thing is over with, after we recover 100%, we're going to have to attack this every day. And, it'll be days where I just send them scriptures or days, motivational quotes like, man, we're going to be okay. Like, this is not going to be a reason why we don't perform at our best when we come back. This nobody on Twitter would be able to say, oh, it's because he didn't take his rehab, or maybe the training staff didn't do this. That's not going to be a case at all. So, and then I just know, going through an injury where I had to sit out a little bit before, most of it is mental. Like, you're going to have all the best doctors, the best surgeons, the best training staff. That's a profession. They're going to do what they can to, get you back. But it's all going to be mental. The mental battle is going to be the toughest part of it. So I knew if we can all just come there, compete, have fun with it, and know that we all going to be good at the end of the day, then we'll get out of here and have fun again. So I definitely took that, as a role of mine. And now we're the best of friends. Me and John was in David wedding this past month. So I bond, our friendship definitely built over time, and I feel great just seeing them out there, catching passes, John diving for balls again. I feel good.
What's your initial impression of Mike Zimmer?
Oh man, I love him. I tell everybody that I talk to, he's like a professor at the game, as far as teaching, and he allows us to be, students and players, and anything he says, you want to try to get a grasp of it, even if it's just one thing, just to keep in your toolbox, because it's a reason why he's been in this game, and it's a reason why he's coached as many talented players as he has. He makes you learn the game, sit there, and not only just be out there being a football player, but what you're doing and everybody else on the field doing.
It was we heard Eric Kendricks during OTAs, who spent a lot of time in Mike Zimmer's defense. Eric Kendricks was even saying, yeah, we're into this first day, kind of complicated. Yeah, there's a lot to pick up. There's a lot that he asks of you, and a lot of different things that we're doing. How important while you've been rehabbing, how important have the mental reps that you're trying to get in, and some of the study work that you're trying to get in, how important has that been for you with Mike Zimmer coming in here?
It's definitely been real important, especially knowing my role when I got back from my injury, and that they was going to be asking, something of me, and which is I expected. I wanted them to throw a lot at me when I got back, and it just forced me, to really sit down and go into year two, not with that rookie mindset of I'm new to this, like I get to work my way in, but no, having a guy like Zimmer, like he's going to teach you ball, and it's going to be a defense where you got to sit there and learn it just to, to be your best at it. And, I had a whole year to just sit and learn football, get my football IQ up. And with, like Eric said, at first it is complicated. But once you just sit through the meetings and, like I say, every day you grab a little bit from them, it all starts just adding up and mixing in. And then when you got a guy like EK coming in that's played under Zimmer for a long time and was an all-pro under Zimmer, he helps too. He got his 2 cents in too.
Cartoon crush? I saw you posted on Instagram, but it was Harvey and Dak, and I didn't see yours in there. Did they not ask you, or did they just not make the clip?
No, mine was actually, it was right after, I think, Dak and Jake. It was right after Dak and Jake.
Yeah, Instagram, they need to extend that when some of those videos. It's too short.
So, you had to click on the reel to actually see mine.
And who was it?
It was actually Vanessa from Phineas and Ferb, Dr. Doofenshmirtz's daughter.
No, I gotta look this up.
No idea. Bobby?
I know who he's talking about. I don't know how she would be ahead of like Lola Bunny in Space
Storm
Jam.
made it. Ferguson said Jessica Rabbit.
So you like the eyes.
Kim Possible.
Hey.
She got the big eye. Yeah, you like that.
And it's crazy because I knew it was an out of the world question coming when they asked me did I want to get on the little mic. They didn't usually, they just put it up to you and ask you a question. But I knew, I was like, okay, they asking me, so it got to be something off the wall. But I didn't have the worst. It was some people that, I understand Lola Bunny, but at the end of the day, she's a bunny.
And it's a cartoon character.
Well, but EK, he said a dog. It was a dog that he put. I'm like, okay, it's time to sit down and have a conversation, boys.
Hey,
maybe that's his style.
Maybe
He's got that dog in him.
Some people are in different things. Now, I saw, how old is your son? 1 year old?
He's 1.
Okay, so are you bonding with Dak over the newborn stuff? My daughter is 2 months old, but I have a 4-year-old son. So you got the sleep schedule down, the diaper changing down. How much are you all into that? And what show is on the iPad the most?
So he actually is a fan of, well, it started off Coco Melon, nothing but Coco Melon.
Oh, God. My wife won't allow that.
We progressed, and now the old Grinch, the original Grinch.
Oh
wow! He can sit in front of the Grinch all day. If it's not the Grinch, it's something about dinosaurs. He loves dinosaurs.
Yeah.
So he makes it easy on me because I'm still a cartoon guy too. Like I don't mind sitting and watching cartoons. Like it's no problem.
Are you an anime guy? Who do we have yesterday that was anime?
Marshawn Nealon, big anime fan.
See, I'm not really into anime. But, like, if somebody put it on, I usually sit there and be like, this is actually interesting. I'm not going to go home and turn it on, but I'm like, this is actually cool.
What was the big cartoon you were into as a kid?
So, I say Phineas and Ferb just because I always seen myself as, like, a Ferb. Like,
you know who this is, Ruben?
Yeah. I ain't really say too much. I just went about my business, but we got stuff done. Yeah. Like, I got stuff done. So, I was always a Phineas and Ferb type of guy.
New number this year, 13. Lot of sad Longhorns fans wondering why you didn't go with the 0.
Man, I think I done said this so many times now, but I wanted it. I thought I was going to earn it last year, but, that happens, and So I was like, okay, this year it's looking good. Like he said, wait a year, let me see. And I think he decided that was rowdy number. So 13 was available. I've been told that 13 is my lucky number by more than one person. And me and my son's birthday both on the 13th. So it all just makes sense. It was like, you know what? 13 is like, and I look good in the threads. Like it looked good. It looked good.
Well, look, man, there's no one else out here we're rooting for more than you. You're blessed with the accent. You have the media personality. Thank you so much for sitting down with us again this year, and have a fantastic season. We cannot wait to root for you. You're one of the best, if not the best, that we get to sit down with. So thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
The man, DeMarvion Overshown, back with us here in the On Time Experts hot seat. On Time Experts Air Conditioning and Plumbing, same day service guaranteed here on DFW Sports Station. Nick Eatman, DallasCowboys.com. He's talking about a different player in the Cowboys secondary, and was he as impressed with this offensive lineman as we were at practice yesterday? Nick Eatman joins us next.
Do you think it's true that you've got to forget something else to remember that Uber Eats has groceries?
No, that's absurd. Hey, remember when you used to be a, what was it, a pepper lady? Pepper lady?
Wasn't it Cinnamon Sisters?
Basil Babes.
Saffron Squad?
Nutmeg Maidens?
Pre-curb?
No.
Nutmeg Maidens.
just said that? Was it Spice Girls?
Doesn't sound right.
Was it Saffron Squad?
This is Sean and IJ on 105.3 The Fan.
Final hour fist pump.
Yes, sir.
There we go. Fan cam, Twitch, and YouTube. Ruben is all hyped up talking cartoons with the Marvion Overshown. Nick Eatman is like, what the hell did I get myself into? And he is brought to you by the WinStar World Casino and Resort. Proud to be the casino of the Dallas Cowboys. Please game responsibly. Welcome.
This is awesome. What you guys got going in here?
You got a rave going on.
Yeah, this is pretty cool.
Did you get skunked? Have you gotten skunked out here?
No. I did get a warning text, though, to check under the bed. Not the bed. Well, check under the table when you get into our little work area.
Well, one of y'all got video of the skunk walking around.
Yeah.
We walked in yesterday. It was tail up by the gate, and he scattered. And then apparently he was just walking around the media area, just spraying all over Todd Archer's stuff.
Man, clip that. But no, the worst for me here was, the Canton trip is a beating just because, you fly after the game and night game, you fly all the way to LAX and you go to LAX, then you get on buses and then you're going back to Oxnard. So it's like 5 a.m. and I'm like walking up to my room and there's a possum sitting right at the top and he's like growling or hissing or whatever. And like I'm trying to get him to move off, and he's just not. He's just locked in. So finally, the guy that's worn the orange shirt here, he's like the security guy. He's worn the same shirt for 30 years. 5:30 in the morning, he's got this big pole, and he pushes him out finally. I'm just like, one more, just kicking the ass before I can get to bed here.
Trayvon Diggs, coming back. Yesterday they held him out of practice with the full pads. How do you expect them to ease him back in?
Well, from my understanding, this is kind of based off the rules. If you stay on PUP, you really can't do anything. So this is just to participate in the jog-throughs, just to be out there, just to be able to be in some of the meetings. This is what they need to do. I don't think he's still ready to go at all. I think this was one of those situations where, and then I asked the question, so why PUP at all? And it's because, I think the trainers wanted to see, is there even a possibility that he's not going to be ready for week 1? That's why you put him on PUP. But the fact that they took him off tells you that that's not the case. He's not ready to practice just yet, but they'll ease him in. And remember how he got hurt. He got hurt at practice at the Star. So I don't think there's this big jump to say we got to get him out of here. But I think it'll be just like a ramp up thing. No preseason games and just go play Amari Cooper.
Is there a deadline that you think that from is full go in all practices that he's got to hit
to play in that game?
Yeah,
I think they're trying to get him ready to go for that practice of that week. And I can promise you this. I can't promise this, but the fact that you remember the Tyron Smith injury from 2 years ago at that practice at the Star, the one with the fans come in. I forgot what they call it, but
the avulsion fracture.
Yeah. Oh God, they'll have another practice like that. It'll be after